looks like we got 3 people watching it too, right?
All right.
So there you go. That was all out. There's a lot of hard work for those 3 people.
Well, I
out
think
there.
if the work would have worked and we started at 7 when we told everybody.
Yeah, there were 97 people there and they all punted out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Sure. So anybody who's there is like super hardcore. All right, boys. Welcome to episode number 487 of the ClevelandMoto Podcast. Light 'em up. Of course. That's nice. That's good. Some people played by the rules.
This is the last time. Next time we're having I'm going deep. We're having a full setup. This is I'm over this. This fucking half-assing
right.
live
I
shit.
I think we're ready.
It's gonna look like fucking Star Wars in here.
It's a bottle in a bag.
Oh.
Okay, Chattanooga Bell Farm Distillery, the spirit of Oconee?
Oconee. And it's Chattooga Bell.
Chattooga Bell.
It's right on the South Carolina-Georgia border. Awesome little distillery, open year-round.
Oh, that fingernail pointing of South Carolina where you drive through, there's like six signs that say hell is real.
And you're done.
This is distilled hard apple cider, aged as bourbon is in charred oak.
Sounds divine.
Oh, this sounds terrible.
This sounds terrible.
Oh, shit, that smells like candy. Oh, my God, man. That smells just like candy.
Tastes like whiskey.
It tastes like whiskey? Good. All right. I like the way you're pushing against my hand.
Stop.
That's enough, Phil. Settle down. Oh, that looks great. It even got good sound to it. It's got good audio. To my left is
Sean Noel.
And to his left,
Dan Kromke.
And to his left,
Steve Sleepy.
And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
And to his left,
Speedy Pete.
And to his left, monitoring the chat,
Chris Smith.
And behind the bar today, as usual,
Tom Pennington.
Yay! I'm back from Germany, Prague, and all places in between. Having super fun on my Christmas vacation. Had a great time. Shocking how many people are riding motorcycles and scooters over there in the snow because that's their jam. It's what they do.
Do they salt?
No. They throw down some grit. Usually some grit, some just gritty stuff down there. That's what they do. Saw the new Honda Hornet out in the wild, 750cc parallel twin Hornet, just walking along in Czechoslovakia, Czechia, walking along over by Charles Bridge, and just there's one sitting there. I was like, well, there we go. There's my first live sighting of a Honda Hornet 750 twin. Really cool.
Microphone's right. Yep. There you go.
All right. And
there's that deep voice.
Oh, there's that boom.
Yeah,
we like that. Yeah, we like the sound of that. The biggest thing I noticed was the number of delivery scooters and delivery motorcycles. So everybody out there's got a big box on their back, making money. They're just hustling Uber Eats and everything. The biggest stadium in Berlin is the Uber Stadium, which I think that's something from Germany. Deutschland, Uber Stadium. That was right there by the vestiges of the wall.
I'm sure that's the new football club chant.
It is. Yeah. That's what they're saying now. And next to it was like the Uber Eats ice hockey rink. Yeah. Right? For real. Very interesting, but motorcycles are a absolute thriving part of business there. They're how people get to where they're going, even in the wintertime. So really, really impressive. And my favorite thing was watching tourists on scooters eat shit. Watching, Mr. and Mrs. Tourist going, no, Becky, get on the back. We can two up this bitch. And then realizing they cannot two up a stand-up scooter for the life of them.
Oh, man.
You have to have your shit firmly dialed to two up a stand-up scooter with the steering head angle of 0 degrees on like a 4-inch wheel.
Yeah, right. A tiny little wheel.
And you got to be really good or really drunk to be soft enough on your handlebars to not just wad that thing in 7 feet.
Yeah.
One of them went right in front of Merritt and I at total velocity and just crashed hard into a fence right next to the water. And I was like, if that fence wouldn't have been there, something. But they do need to drag the rivers more frequently because by Berlin, by where they have what's left of the East Side Museum, where they have the actual 1.5 kilometers of the original wall still set up, there is a river there, and they had dragged out electric bicycles.
Your audio dropped out, or mine dropped out.
Probably yours. They had brought electric bicycles and electric scooters out of the water that had like mollusks and zebra mussels and they were fully encased like artwork. And it was kind of cool, but I think their idea was, in case you had the great idea to ride your electric scooter thing that you've owned for the past half an hour, in case you decide that you're going to ride that into the Spree River, we're going to show you what happens. And it's not a novel concept. You're not a smart guy. It's been done. So settle down, Ranger Rick. Just chill the fuck out. It's been done. I think they were sitting there as sort of a cautionary tale to just maybe don't do that. It's all right. It's cool.
Or I remember back in the day, we had to ride bicycles into the river.
Exactly. Right. We had to steal bicycles and ride them into the river. We weren't, we didn't have these fancy electric scooters that are tied to your credit card somehow.
Did you ever see when they go to Holland or something and they channel off the lake and they drain all the water and they fish like the thousands
Oh, yeah. Every stolen bicycle in Europe is in that river.
And scooter, too.
Oh, for real. Oh, yeah. It was something. It was really cool. But that was big fun. Everybody who had also an equally fun trip for Christmas and New Year's? Anybody do anything fun?
Nope.
Sit at home and hate your kids? What'd you do, Dan?
Went to South Carolina. It was not a riding trip, but we had a great time.
Very cool. Excellent. And you clearly brought back hooch, as usual. You never come back empty-handed.
That's an annual stop.
Okay. Because you got to replenish. Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense. The Aldi, in every Aldi I went into, has a disturbingly powerful liquor selection. The wine aisle is at least 60 feet long. And we had proper bottles of wine. It's good wine when it has a picture of a Vespa on the label for €2.40, which means $2.60, right? Because the euro and the dollar are almost lockstep right now. And I was like, I now must know what the cheapest bottle of wine at Aldi is. It's $1.75.
I was gonna say it's $4 here. It's the Winking Owl stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's $1.75 there.
Yeah.
It's under $2 Chuck.
Yeah.
And I grabbed a bottle and it was fine.
Yeah. That's a whole lot of happiness for not very much money.
Yeah.
Why would anybody drink Pepsi?
Wrap in a brown paper bag.
Like, in that.
Oh, there's actually
you don't need to wrap anything in anything there.
Well, no, you got to make if it's metal glass. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, you want to make sure it's safe.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say when it comes to drinking,
an asshole. Don't drink it. Don't drink out of the glass on the street.
That didn't slow anybody down. Yeah, I promise you.
Bucking horse around?
Yeah, there was. It was great.
Dude, it's like a wood noise.
If you had any,
it might be the bench.
If you
had
had
on this, it actually makes a lot of noise.
Any intention of drinking mulled wine, mulled cider,
Glühwein,
anything, Glühwein, I say you should do it. You should do it a lot. But when you come to the stand that is offering you the mulled pina colada, take a hard fucking pass. Take a hard pass. Turn around. Don't buy anything at that place. They're the devil. They're just trying to fuck with you. I had one of those. It tastes exactly like suntan lotion you've left on the dashboard of your car for too long.
Yeah, that's pina colada.
It's a lot.
Oh, it was so bad. It was tragically bad. There's probably 8 or 10 different alcohol-free mulled wine products. I had what they called ginger, ginger something, but it was definitely 100% ginger liquor.
It's made from real gingers.
Oh, you could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell. And it was delicious. That was also very good. So they've stepped it up from last time I was there, where your selections were like, Glühwein.
Glühwein or Heiß Kakao.
Right. Or Heiß Kakao. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So the options have definitely gotten better. And if you want to go there and, and have a spirited beverage before 10 a.m., this is the place to do it.
There you go.
In front of the church. And probably you're going to be buying it from the church.
As God intended.
As God intended. As God intended.
He knew how to party, and he knew how to bring wine to a party.
Yes. It's really.
This is the way to go.
It's real good. Yeah. Yeah. So,
There's trees.
all right.
There's rocks.
With we were Christmasing here in Cleveland, for anybody who doesn't know, usually involves, 17 feet of snow. But we haven't had that. It's been pretty nice until a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
we just started.
Yesterday.
We got a little decorative ornamental snow. I got to run the snowblower.
Well, you told me, you said the first time, because like weeks ago, you went out to the east. And you said as soon as you hit the snow belt and the snow line, it was like 12 feet of fucking
Game
snow.
on. Where
And even
John
Johnny
was.
sent pictures
Yeah.
back.
Oh, it was
And we were like, we
fantastic.
had a dusting and it was 60 here
Yeah.
for like 2 days. And I'm like, well, why would I buy a snowblower now?
And today? You're like,
Today I'm like, nah, I should use that.
kind of have a snowblower.
Nah, good shovel. You're fine.
I know. Yeah, it's like what, 5 inches out there?
Nice wide shovel today is perfect.
Today, you can make some good time with a wide shovel today.
You know what today was bad for? Driving to Ohio State. I had to take my kid back to Ohio State in the middle of a snowstorm. And within every 20 feet, a car was sliding off the road.
Oh, yeah.
There were several times, and I can't explain this, but thank God I can like actually drive. I was just driving, right? We're just doing 65, snow and stuff. The back end for like I wasn't turning.
No.
I was just on a highway driving.
Yep.
And the back end would just go.
And this was the Hyundai?
Yeah. And I'm like full lock the other way, like completely sideways, straightening out. My daughter's like, he's like holding on to everything in the car. And I'm like, we're going to make it, dude. It's
Yeah.
fine. Relax.
That's your car, not the new car.
I don't have a new car.
Well, Amy's car.
Oh, no. Yeah, my car.
No. You got to use your car to drive down to Columbus.
Oh,
You
yeah.
need Amy's car.
Oh, you don't get to take the new
You don't
one?
get to take the
Anytime
new one.
If we go anywhere, I take the new one.
I've never driven it. Not one time.
What?
Never.
Oh, shit.
I'm not allowed.
I don't know why the conditions on that piece of 71 are always just seem terrible in the
they're pretty
wintertime.
Hey, Johnny.
But
Yeah,
what
they're
does
pretty bad.
that? What?
The raccoon and the chicken have permission to drive the car. He does not.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true. 100%.
Livestock, okay. Husband, no.
So, Sleepy, I had that experience riding back from Columbus in a tour bus going sideways down the freeway.
Oh, my God.
That is like, it's not a good feeling.
No, because now you're not in control.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to give the guy credit. He was the only large vehicle that did not end up in the ditch.
Oh, so you got to drive past all the other ones
right.
that were in
Well,
the ditch.
well, there's no way to stop. If you try to stop, you're going in the ditch. It'd be-
Dude, I did have instant karma today that made me so fucking happy. So like, people were doing about 45.
Yeah.
And that was iffy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then in the rearview mirror, I just see this like the cloud of fucking like white dust just rolling toward everything. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's a brodozer and he blows past everybody at like 75. And I'm like, universe, if you love us,
If you're watching.
I would really like to see that guy in the ditch at some point. And
Right.
about 5 miles down the road, there he was, completely sideways, spinning his fucking brodozer tires because he didn't have dirt tires on. He just got them 3-inch thick, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe the universe likes us.
Hey, man, like the real simple thing. Good tires, proper snow tires.
Oh, yeah.
Keep you out of the ditch.
Right.
Yep.
4x4 is only good to get you out of the ditch.
Right.
Right. If you want to not go in the ditch, you need Blizzak.
When I first learned how to drive in the sand, a guy told me, he said, if you have to turn on 4-wheel drive,
Right.
you've already lost the game.
yes, you're stuck.
You're stuck.
Right. You're stuck.
So like 2-wheel drive is fine. As soon as you have to hit that 4-wheel drive, game over.
See, I've always been like, I've got 4-wheel drive engaged before I even, I'm like, I'm putting in 4-wheel drive right now.
It costs like 2 cents more.
Oh.
Yeah. Merit, we put the really, really good Blizzaks on Merit's Hyundai and separate rims, the whole 9. Put them on, and this morning or yesterday when I was driving it and it was proper snow, I was like, well, honey, this is how we test.
Yep.
And I couldn't make the thing donut.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, a little pat on the back to the boys at Blizzak. They got that shit figured out.
That was the beauty of buying the Civic. It would have cost me more to buy the tires than it did to buy the car.
Fair enough.
And the car came with the tires. So I'm like, rock and roll.
Hey, I just wanted to bring this up before we get too deep into the motorcycle shit. You remember last year when we got that gift of that tabletop fireplace?
Oh, yeah.
That we poured, hard liquor into and we burned it and everything else. And so I got to read this because this is so cool. This is from Nathan Roundtree. Awesome. So he goes, hey guys, this is Nathan from Virginia. I don't know if you remember me from this time last year, but I sent you all the tabletop fireplace, but I didn't send the ethanol. I made up for it this year, and I finally sent you guys a bottle so you wouldn't have to burn the good liquor. I sent a little something else too that I figured you'd like. Well, I got a notification today from Amazon that they were refunding me for the fireplace a year later. And I looked into the reason. It seems they did that with everyone who bought one, stating the following. Dear Amazon customer, we are contacting you about a tabletop fire pit, fire pot, miniature fireplace, or portable fire pit for indoor use that you purchased on Amazon.com. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission has recently issued a product safety warning stating that these products might violate the current voluntary safe standard and that continuing to use them could result in severe injury or death. It's right behind you, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah.
It's watching.
So I apologize. I hope nothing bad has happened from it. Throw it away, continue using it, smash it for fun, whatever it is you guys want to do. Anyway, I also want to thank you all for inspiring me to attend Vintage Days the past year with my dad as well. It was everything you described and more. You weren't kidding. It's a lot of walking. I found that out when my Chinese scooter died, and I ended up buying a 1980 Suzuki FS50 Noped from a guy in the camping area as an anti-walking device.
That's a good term, man.
It was great. It was a great letter.
You know what? You know what? That's the new term. Everything next year. This
anti-walking device.
Anti-walking
Amen,
device.
brother.
That is going to be on every
We're going
bike.
to co-op the shit out of that.
They're gonna call the shit out of that. Cleveland Moto anti-walking devices. Step right
I was
up.
going to say, I don't know if I've ever done any walking at Mid-Ohio.
I did one year, like the first year, and he thought I was crazy. Like, you walked 2 miles back? I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Why would you do that?
And all the best
refuse.
and all the best deals, I'm not going to lie, are in the stalls in the middle.
It's like bringing sand to the beach.
Dude, the one year you took me out to the swap. This is before my hip replacement when I had occasional bone on bone shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so you guys, I was hammered, and I'm like walking around the swap shop, and I turn, and you guys are all gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. All right. So then I walked back from the swap shop all the way back to our camp thing, and like halfway back, I could hear the.
Oh, yeah. You're bone on
It
bone.
was so terrible, man.
That is no fun.
No.
So he goes, the little Suzuki FS50 Noped got me through 2 days without a single hiccup with its 2-speed tranny and a push mower exhaust held on with baling wire.
Yep. Nice.
We will be back next year and many more, God willing. I do have a question that only you guys might know the answer to. We took a picture with my dad and a nice old fella sitting at a picnic table for lunch. I cannot remember his name, but he said he held the record for top speed with a sidecar rig, running a heavily modified turbo Hayabusa, and showed us a picture of it. I searched online and I can't find any information that leads me to who it could be. Well, it just so happens I'd accidentally got 9 o'clock drunk by noon, and we got into the Toyota Hiace after the deluge
Yep.
on my 50th birthday.
Yes.
And we went out hunting, and I found the cherriest red Honda Dream 305 I've ever seen
At that period of time.
at that particular period of time. And negotiations instantly ensued where we got to meet him, his Honda Hawk, his old lady, they were both spectacular. They were in the world's smallest teardrop trailer I had ever seen. Enough room for a full-size mattress and fuck all else. Mm-hmm. The deluge had just quit. The sun had come out, and Chris Ashmore was crashing the shit out of my Zero on every turn. We'd go through, and he'd slide past us sideways on the Zero off-road bike. But I ended up buying the bike from the guy. Yeah. So I actually have his name on the title of the vehicle, previous owner of that Honda Dream, that red Honda Dream. Yep. But you're right. He showed me the pictures of his Hayabusa with a sidecar rig and his land speed record.
Well, and you came back and regaled us with the tale.
Yeah.
I bought a bike off the land speed record holder.
And Sleepy, like you said, I say some weird shit.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, somebody pops up and goes, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And this is one of those situations.
Well, at Mid-Ohio, though, you pretty much, like, if it's an old dude, he probably did something cool if he's still at Mid-Ohio at 80 years old or something. It's like, not a lot of randos walking around.
You see my fiberglass right leg? That's a Penton.
So if it just so happens to be a red Hayabusa with a sidecar, number 1194 with Baker Motorsports down the side?
I think it was, yeah. So there you go. Anyhow, thanks you guys for years of laughs and great information. We look forward to many years more. See you at VMD, Nathan Roundtree. Yeah. Fucking fantastic letter, man.
down there.
I love it when we get good letters, man.
Oh, yeah.
Makes me so happy.
And the hate mail,
got letters.
We got many
letters.
Yeah. It is absolutely true. It's big fun. Did anybody look at your homework?
Yes, I did.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's not. This is not one of those days where nothing is happening. There's definitely some stuff going on out there, and I think it'd be fair if we let people know about it. To be fair,
drink.
I'll drink.
Hey,
I said it. I'll drink.
Let me give you some comments from the
Fire up,
Peanut Gallery.
Yeah. So first off, Ground Beardo says, "Hi."
Fuck yeah, Grombeardo.
And I asked folks, what are you drinking and what do you ride?
Yeah.
Just to see what they have to say. So,
Right. Good question.
Audio Vector, Invictus Green Apple Hard Shine.
Whoa.
And everything Kawa. I was at,
Everything, Kawa.
he says, I was at Mid-Ohio on the green MT1 in 2019.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Fucking MT1. Rock on, man. Super cool.
Dave King says, "Aye, we got numbers."
Fucking A. Yeah, we are not pros at this. We are slapdash. We're not trying to be anything that we're not.
But this will never happen again.
Wesley,
No, next time we're gonna have a top 10 list.
Oh, there's going to be
and it's gonna
slides.
structure.
There's going to be.
all right, settle down. Let me get through these.
All right.
Just trying to read.
So
It does take him some
Wesley
time, so-
Witt says he's drinking water. He's on call, but he's riding a 2015 Harley Wide Glide.
Nice.
Straw Dog, Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Nice.
Happy New Year, sir.
Redonk.
I've been called many things, but gentleman's never been one of them.
No.
Redonk says kids these days just throw bikes in the river instead of stripping them.
Keen observation there, sir.
Very keen observation.
Scott's Moto Adventures. I am drinking a triple IPA. I ride a BMW 1150 GS.
Right on, my brother.
Honda Gram clone.
Oh,
Nice.
And my wife's Vespa Primavera 150. Happy New Year, guys.
Hey,
Right on.
And then he also says we don't have alcohol aisles here in the Aldi's in PA. I miss the Aldi's in Michigan.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, Pennsylvania, you have to go to a state store.
Yes, you do.
Straw Dog 1 is drinking Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA.
That used to be my favorite. That was it.
That was your jam,
my
wasn't it?
favorite. Yeah, 5 of those, and it becomes next week.
Dave King, Modelo, and riding Z900 RS Cafe.
Nice.
And wifey's Vespa LXV 150.
Yeah,
All right.
a lot of cross-pollination here.
Happy New Year, fellas. Howdy from Texas.
Nice.
Howdy.
Straw Dog also says I had skinny bias plies on my 78 Blazer. And then he says, is it me or is one of the audio channels low on the volume?
Uh-oh.
Well, it's only one.
Well, it's mono. So,
Yeah.
so the answer to that is you bet your ass
Yes.
it is.
So let's just explain.
Turn up
this.
the other one.
So we spent an hour trying to get the audio board hooked into the live stream, but because YouTube sucks, it makes it really hard. We can't. So now we're gonna get an audio. This will be the last time that we're not having the board audio go into.
And this will be the last time you have to turn your shit up super loud so you can hear us.
Yeah.
We're going to do our part and talk loud because we're just using a conference table mic, which is mono. So there aren't two mics feeding the channel right now. It's a mono mic. It's a conference room mic. So that's why it's going to sound a little weird. But
If you're close to the mic, you sound good. If you're far,
But here's the thing. Right now, consider this a long test because
Yeah.
what you're going to do is you're going to watch it when Sleepy drops it, and you're going to have this beautiful surround sound audio that he's famous for.
Yeah,
And,
but
you know,
we're gonna
4K.
have that on this
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
we have the gear. It's just in different places.
I was going to say, getting all the gear in one room
Yeah.
is hard. I brought 3 bags of gear in
yeah,
today.
it was the wrong piece.
One piece. And I brought in 80 pounds of gear,
Yeah.
and the piece we need is 8 ounces.
And like half the stuff I've been looking for 2 years. I'm
you
like,
just found all
there.
kinds of new gear. Right. Yeah. You're like, I didn't know we had 100 XLR cables.
I know.
We have 100
I was
XLR
like,
cables.
oh my god, that other $800 mixer that I
Yeah.
didn't know where it was.
We have it. We have 2 of them.
We got 2 more. It says LD Shag says a Royal Docks and a Triumph Triple.
Oh, wow.
And then Straw Dog says, yeah, that answers it. And then Mark Kenyon says, can't hear Tom very well.
Yeah, he's got a
Dot,
shot
dot,
from
dot.
where he is.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
There are some benefits to this.
I'm just reading them as they come through.
I'm just reading them as they show up, boys. So
Nobody wants to hear me anyway. What?
So the reason I chose tonight's homework is simply because Sleepy, I'm going to throw Sleepy under the bus today.
What?
Sleepy posted a picture a couple of weeks ago of his motorcycle laying on its fucking side whilst hooked to a lift.
Well, it wasn't hooked.
Well, tell me more.
Well, no, this was completely my body failing. This was like I've put that bike up and down 1,000 times, and I'm pretty good at doing it without fucking up.
Yeah.
My leg folded backwards.
When you were center standing it, or
No,
when you were?
when I had the front wheel and I
Okay.
did the luge to push it up. You know, like the
But then
lunge.
the lift runs out too.
Well, no, but I did
Okay.
the thing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
as I went forward,
Yeah.
instead of my knee coming with me, it went
flippy-flopped.
like that, and then I went and I through because the bike was either going to fall on me or fall that way.
Yeah, I see.
So it fell that way.
I could tell.
It broke nothing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was fine. I mean, I scratched my bar end or whatever.
Who cares?
Tell me about your knee.
My knee's fucked. I laid there. Nobody was home.
Oh,
Right.
So
That's nice.
Yeah, so I laid on the cold floor for like 2.5 hours, kind of trying to get my leg to work, and then I screamed and it popped, and now it's back to where it used to be. It really hurts.
Yeah. No,
Well, I mean,
shit.
I've needed a knee surgery for
Yes, you have.
a long time, and I'm just holding out. I figure if I crash at one of these times, they'll have to
you'll get
fix
one.
it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
you know.
but yeah, that's why that went down. My
Good
knee.
thing I had that crash. I was really looking forward to that knee surgery.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to be 6 to 8 months of not riding or doing anything. And
It depends.
Yeah.
My knee surgery for my knee replacement, I was riding again in 4 weeks, 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. I was riding in 6 weeks.
Does it-
Not
Really?
supposed to.
Does it depend on
But I
how
did.
fast you heal yourself?
Yeah, a lot of it depends on how you take care of it, how you rehab it.
The interesting thing, though, if you look at it, there's it's just,
No,
there's nothing
there's
there.
nothing
It's
there.
just a round thing now.
Yeah, it's
It doesn't even have a kneecap
It's a
or
freaky,
anything.
weird non-kneecap.
Yeah.
how long ago did you have your knee done, Phil?
A long time ago. So I had two done. So I had both knees done. I had one of the knees done in 2001 after a motorcycle crash, and then I had the other knee done in 93, 90. You know.
Are they still hanging in there?
One's the one that's a cadaver knee is really, really good, and I really love it. It's the best thing in the world. The other
That's
one
what
that's a
you're saying.
Zytel nylon knee, which is the newer knee. The newer knee is I do not like it. They said 10 years projected lifespan, and I'm now at 20 plus years. So yeah, I got my money's worth. I'm outside of the warranty.
Any pain?
Yes. So it is definitely, I can walk just fine, but trying to do anything other than walking is when problems start. So yeah, I mean, I can do most everything just fine, but I cannot run. I cannot jog. I cannot like run to the car from where we are right now.
Right.
That's not an option.
Well, my cure for right now is I'm looking up, and I'm going to try in the next week to get
Yeah.
a knee brace that won't let the knee go the other way.
Yeah, exoskeleton brace.
Yeah. So when I'm
absolutely.
doing dumb shit like this, it won't do that.
Good to know if the zombie apocalypse happens that, I just have to do a little bit of a jog.
Yes.
And you two
That's it.
fuckers
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right.
But I carry a gun, so I'm going to shoot you first.
Thanks, Phil. You got my back.
Because I know that he thinks that way, and so
Well,
so if his whole plan is that Phil and Sleepy are gonna be zombie food,
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna put one in him.
Yeah.
You could save yourself from a bear attack. You
That's
just need
right.
a 22.
That's it.
To
Shoot
shoot your
yourself.
buddy. Shoot your buddy in the knee.
That's that line. I don't have to run faster than the bear. I just have to run faster than you.
Don't have to run faster than the lion. Just have to run slower than the other guy. Or faster than the other guy.
Oh, shame.
Fair enough. Okay, so show notes. I did a deep dive because I wanted to know. I mean, we all got project motorcycles that if we're not working on, okay, the holidays are over, motherfucker.
Yeah, how many warehouses do you have, Phil?
I don't even want to talk about
How
it.
many bikes do you
I
have?
don't even
Phil?
want to talk about it.
How many bikes do I have to work on?
Don't
Phil?
even want to talk about it, right? But that's the point is we all say, well, I'll get around to it.
I did get around to it. I was working on my project motorcycle, the CL 350 that I've had for years. That had the motor taken out, was raced by Marcus for a while. That I finally got the motor back.
You got a motor for your birthday.
Yeah, it wasn't the right motor, but but whatever. The thought counts.
The thought counts. You were gracious about it.
Yeah, so that bike's been around that long.
That has been a long time.
What was that, like my 30th birthday
I
or
think it
something?
was, yeah.
I'm
It was
like- I'm
a
like-
long time ago.
54.
I carried that motor down the stairs at Mayhall's.
Thank you. God bless you. But yeah, so I'm still trying to get that thing going.
Wow. Yeah.
One little piece at a time.
That's what it is, man. It's a death of a thousand cuts, right?
I go out there and work an hour on it, and then year goes by, work another.
Can't you just
buy a part, it sits there and put it on. Like, I put the starter on, I did this, I did. Oh, I've done lots of work to it.
Yeah.
Latest is now the coil. One of the coils is bad.
Dude, just think though,
No
when it's
spark on the
done, you
left
can
side.
blast down the road at like 54 miles an hour.
The sad truth of it is, I'm just trying to get it running and get it sold.
To get rid of it.
I just want
Make
it to
it go.
leave.
Yeah.
I'm almost ready to push it on the curb.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck
get
this. I sent you that picture. I just threw away. You could probably made hundreds of dollars on eBay if you wanted to. I just threw it on the curb.
Right.
No, just do what
back
we do.
racks and stuff like that. I'm not
No,
taking
no.
it to Mid Ohio.
No. I meant with the bike. Just do what we do. Take it to a skid mark and dump it in the garage in the driveway.
You know what? Or I could just put it on the curb.
That's true.
Yeah,
I can just put it on the curb.
sometimes it just feels better to be rid of it.
Post it on a local motorcycle thing.
Let the scrappers have it. Whatever. Maybe they use it. Maybe I don't know.
No, I would.
I had two shells full of stuff, and everything, including the shells, went on the fucking curb.
Yeah.
Isn't it the most cathartic thing ever, though, to take like
I'm enjoying getting rid of
an
stuff
entire
like you wouldn't
bucket and
believe.
just dump it in the trash?
I did. CB200 parts, carbs, the mechanical brake, fucking drum.
The
thing.
mechanical disc brake.
Fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit.
I threw it right in the garbage. I'm like, I hope you have a CB200 out there and you're looking for those parts.
Yeah, and your
They're
19, your blue and white 71 CB200, right? Look, it's gone. They're just gone now.
Yeah,
whatever.
I had the yellow.
I'm realizing-
I had that weird yellow orange.
I'm realizing that I'm never going to own another CB200.
Right.
I don't want to. Been there, owned 4 or 5 of them. I don't
Dude,
want that.
you did it wrong, man. We could have made this a whole podcast. We could have announced like anybody out there with the CB200 somewhere near Mid Ohio, buried it in dirt will be and just leave it there.
Oh, scavenger
hunt for all the people to look
That's
for
a
parts.
good idea.
Yeah.
Nobody who currently has a CB200 in their possession that is doing anything other than running perfectly has the knowledge, the time, or the money to fix it. Because I get phone calls 5-6 times a week from people that are like, "Oh yeah, I need a part for my CB200. I need the points and the condenser and the starter and the battery and the this." And I'm like, "And rims? Do you need rims? Do you need rims? Do you need rims? Do you need a gas tank too? You need a gas tank. I bet you need a gas tank. I'm almost positive you need a seat. Yep. You need fucking handlebars.
Yep.
Dude, you need everything.
Yep.
All right. You don't have a CB200. You have a couple of parts.
You have a frame.
Frame.
So what you need to do is you need to take all of that stuff and take it to the scrapyard at 17 cents a pound.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thank me. Yeah. Because you don't have a motorcycle.
And that's why I was like, well, I could scrap it. And I'm like, well, by the time I load all this bullshit up and drive up there, and what am I going to get? $20?
So to answer,
So did they take it?
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's Lakewood, dude.
and as a reminder, a
Scrappers are
Honda
going around
Rebel
all the time.
250 comes with a hydraulic disc front brake
Yep.
and the same goddamn motor.
Much better
And a much
version of the
better
same
motor.
Much better version of the same motor.
So
Absolutely.
therefore,
Yep.
if you're going to build with a CB200T, fucking buy a Rebel.
Yes. And
Because you
there's
can cafe that bitch.
you can do all kinds of fun shit with a
yeah.
Rebel. And it's still a Rebel.
It's still a Rebel.
And it won't not run.
I have perfectly good running bikes in my
That's the
garage, and
thing.
that's
Oh, yeah.
I regret a little bit all the time spent working on bikes and not riding bikes. You know,
Oh,
I don't need to work on bikes anymore.
I took pictures of that 3/4 ton truck, F-150 with an 8-foot bed, and I got the back of that bed filled up with parts from what, John? Single overhead cam 750s. Honda single overhead cam 750s. And I took pictures of that, everything we cleaned out of the old shop, and I took it to the dump. I put it on Facebook. Anybody want any of this shit? It's going to be here for 5 days. Come and get it. It's free.
Right.
Crickets. But then when I took it to the dump and got rid of it, for a year and a half, people going through the time machine looking back at, oh, look at this thing he posted, whatever. Oh, you're the devil. I've been looking for those parts for 1,000 years and whatever. You bitch. You know, I posted everything with the tag CB750, K5, K0 through K, whatever. You had every opportunity in the world.
They skipped last year.
They skipped last year. They took a year off, right? Oh, that's exactly what I've been looking for my whole damn life. Well, how come you didn't call me? I got that shit listed in my bio, right? If you have the internet, you know I'm into that
But
shit.
you know, here's something else I realized about the whole vintage bike thing. Because as I've gotten newer and newer bikes this year and enjoyed all the things like the stuff, it's like how much of that feeling that you think you're going to have is just the fact that was probably one of your first bikes. So just the fact of riding something was the feeling.
Stuff looks great in the rearview mirror.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I got that CB350, I was like, man, fuck yeah, I love this thing. It's so great. And then after like a week, you're like, yeah, it's a 75 mile an hour motorcycle that's not really fun.
We'll do a little test. We'll perform a test right here. Pete, what was the first Volkswagen car you ever owned?
Oh man, that's a good question. Car McGee, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Was it a fun car to own?
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it at the time. I
Right.
have no desire to own another one.
Bingo. Exactly. Exactly.
I will never own another CT90. I swear to God, I owned 6 of them at one time. I'm never going to. I don't. You could try to give me one, and I probably wouldn't take it.
If you dropped a 66 Volkswagen Beetle with a crankback moonroof in my driveway that was in the same condition of the one that I had when I was in high school, I would tell you to get it the fuck out of my driveway. All right?
Well,
Because it wasn't perfect.
Aaron's on there. He probably has the same thing too with all his VW
Well, with his
stuff.
VW, right, with his whole world of VWs.
Yeah.
Because I would rather spend my time driving around enjoying something than dicking around with something.
Yeah.
Right?
At one point, I was really into the whole buy it, get it for next to nothing, cobble it together, get it running, make it rideable and everything, and then now I'm like, no,
You know,
I don't have time for
Selling that shit used to be fun because you'd meet a cool person. You'd hey man, oh, you're into that? Yeah, I'm into that. That's great. This cool thing. Look at what I did. Blah blah blah. That's great. I got this thing for next to nothing. Rebuilt it back up. I'm selling it to you for $1,200. Sweet. Here's the money. Let's be friends, right? And now it's turned into, oh my fucking God.
Yeah,
if
I
I
got
have
enough friends.
one more fuck knuckle show up in my driveway trying to give me $5 for something I got $4,000 into.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus Christ, how do I not start smoking guys when they get out of their car? And I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah.
This goes back to the old theory of after dealing with Craigslist and Marketplace and everything else, it is better to burn the motherfucker than trying to sell it. And that's why I have an entire garage full of shit.
That's why you took a V-Strom to Mid-Ohio and brought it home.
Yeah.
Right.
Well.
But you know what? I am starting to feel like having bikes that you're working on that you want to ride, you're like, oh, I can't wait to ride this. That is annoying, right?
Yeah.
But the shit that Greg does, I'm kind of starting to feel like getting a motor and just starting to cobble together a weird fucking thing that there's no time frame.
Yeah.
Hey,
I might make Mid-Ohio. It might be 2 years. I don't know.
you know what the better part of that would be?
What's that?
Is wait till Greg gets tired of it and just buy the fucking thing
no,
from him.
but I don't-
Hey man, why don't you build me a bike? Here's money.
Greg's upside down.
Right.
Yeah, but
Hey man, would you like to sell that? I mean, there's some shit he's never going to sell. But
Yeah,
the
but
reality is
that's-
when he's done, you just go up to him and go, would you like to sell that?
but then you don't build it. It's not yours.
Who the fuck gives a shit? And I'm a mechanic.
You know what? I will say I used to be that way. I used to be like built not bought motherfucker.
Fuck that
right?
bullshit.
I used to be all about built not bought motherfucker.
I can build a nuclear sub. You know what I don't want to do is build a nuclear fucking
I don't
sub.
want it. You know what's great? The bike that starts and runs and gets you where you're going.
You know what?
no,
You
but
can really sound like a baller when you say, "Yeah, I had this built for me."
But that's not what I want to do, man.
Dave Nolan answer.
Bespoke.
Man, it's the fact of
This
like
right
having
here,
a,
bitch.
having a
American
vision,
Express.
having a vision like that somebody else doesn't have.
Do you know
and
how
fucking
many
put it together?
Do you know how many airline points I got buying this motherfucker?
I respect it. I do respect it. That's great. And that's cool if you're the kind of guy that and to put it in perspective, we're not talking about 6-cylinder motorcycles with 24 valves.
No.
We're talking about fun little mini bikes.
Oh,
Yeah,
And fun little mini bikes are fun.
Well, that's the thing. And if it's not something that you're worried about, like it literally is like, I feel like working on an hour this week.
Exactly.
Like, and then it's fun. I'm not like, this is not a profession. It's not something I want to do for a day. It's like,
Hey Phil, how's my mini bike going?
Exactly. Right. And it's
Hey,
but Tom, you don't work on any of your own stuff ever. So
Fine,
that's
having the bike, having the Versys or the KLR or something like that. It's like it doesn't need. You just doesn't
Push
need
button, go
anywhere.
ride.
God, just have fun. Like
Push
why
button, go ride.
Why do you have to have all that problems? And
Well, but it's not
anguish
though,
and-
because that's the thing. If you have bikes to enjoy, then you're enjoying motorcycling, and then like building or restoring. That's just one little thing. And
No, not anymore.
See, I don't like it when it's like when I wanted to get a bike running for DGR or something, and it was fucked up, and you're like, God damn it! And then you have to fix it and do whatever. That's annoying. That's adding
see
stress
right there.
to your
That
life.
God damn it. Yeah.
Right. No, but I don't like that either. But when you have so you have running bikes, I can go and ride 3 or 4 different bikes.
Right.
Then you can just take your time. If I want to beat it, like, hey, I want to make a fender.
I'd rather go for a walk around the block than work on a bike.
Well, do you know what I'm not looking for? I'm
I'd
not
rather
looking
sit on
for
the couch.
I'm not looking for a real nice project refrigerator.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Right.
I love
Exactly.
I ran into a guy. Speaking of that, I ran into a guy on Instagram.
Yeah.
Who restores old Kelvinators.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And they look brilliant. They look beautiful. And if I ever have $12,000 and I want to fit it into my retro house, I'll have this. I'll I will call this guy and go, look, get me the Kelvinator.
There will be signs.
I'm
there
not
will be
saying
signs.
I'm not saying there's not a day when the right bike would show up, that just needs like a carb cleaning and a battery and a little bit of dibble dabble.
Oh yeah.
You're going to fall for that one again?
There is a sucker born every minute.
Hey, John. That's every time I want to ride a bike in March, April, or May, and I go out to my garage and I'm like, GB500 needs to stretch its legs. And carb clean.
Yep.
And everything else.
Well, I finally got the W650 back together, and as soon as we pulled it outside, I was like, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't want to run.
They didn't like it.
You
They didn't like
motherfucker! You ran great 20 feet away.
Yeah, when I paid top dollar for you, you didn't run right. And now we fixed you, and you still don't run right.
I had it running perfect. At back of the shop, I had it running perfect. You run it 100 yards up the straight, it's like, goddamn no.
No.
I think there very much is something that, like Sleepy said a minute ago, like to spend about an hour or so on something.
And with the bikes we're talking about, with mini bikes and stuff, there's a huge return on your investment.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's like, you put an hour into a monkey bike, you've done some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like any fun, nerdy hobby.
But like, I want to do, like, I'm not, what I want to do is kind of what he's doing. Like, he inspired me because it's like, he's not restoring shit.
No.
Like, I want to cut something in half and add 2 feet to it and make it stupid. Like, I'm going full on, like, Captain America
It's
fucking.
your creativity.
Oh,
Yeah.
That,
I want to make aluminum fairings. Like, I want to do that kind of shit,
and that does bleed into his, artistic side of the painting and the pinstriping and the.
He's got some time. I don't know where he gets his time, but he's got time, and I don't have that kind of time.
Well, he inspired me.
It might be avoidance.
So now that we're talking about working all these bikes,
You need something to lift them with.
you got to have something to put them up in the air.
Yeah.
Because only a sucker works on the ground.
Or you try
Only
to
a
put it
guy
on
who
the
doesn't
thing,
have.
and then you end up
only
on the
a guy who doesn't have 40-year-old knees.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I have 8 lifts. I still work on the ground.
It's fucking insane. I don't know how you do it. Every time I go back there and see him laying on the ground,
That
I'm like,
fucking CL350's been on the lift for 6 years. You know what I mean? I have a lift, but one bike has been sitting on it forever. Like
I have
just
so
want
many
off of
lifts.
that
I
lift.
use lifts as ornamental.
Oh yeah,
items.
we actually,
Right?
yeah, you actually do.
I do. I have lifts in my shop that could be replaced by pieces of 2x4.
Yeah.
Right. To just hold bikes in the window that aren't doing anything. They went up. Those lifts went up 7 years ago, and they haven't come down since. Right. And we're going to talk about that too, because they're Harbor Freight lifts, and they're not up under their own power. So, because fucking
But
Harbor
they all
Freight.
have lockouts on them. So I mean, like you pump them up, put the pin in.
That's right.
Yep.
And you do what
actually
we
use-
did and actually cut a piece of 1-inch black pipe, so I could overextend it so it'd be the perfect height of the windowsill. And then I threw the piece of 1-inch black pipe in there and locked it in place, so there's no stress on any part of the damn thing. But here's what I kind of thought was interesting is when I went into the world of lifts, because has anybody ever been on Google and seen a picture of a motorcycle laying on its side strapped to a Harbor Freight lift? Because the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those. And it doesn't seem that there's any sort of a rule that it has to be a Harley Davidson or it has to be a BMW K bike or it has to be a Hayabusa, because I've seen all of them laying on the ground, strapped to a Harbor Freight lift. Mm-hmm. We also had at our shop, we used to have Harbor Freight lifts as our scooter lifts. And then we spent real money on our motorcycle lifts. So we had big, healthy, strong ass, fancy multi-$1,000 lifts for the motorcycles, but we'd use the Harbor Freight lifts because they were cheap and cheerful. The bikes were on and off very easily, and you didn't have to have air run into them.
The best lift was
just
that
pump them up.
You had that hydraulic table lift. That was the one.
Which one?
Back at POC with the stainless bed that was all the way in the back.
That's in his
They're
garage.
out of my garage.
Oh,
That's the one that my dad built when he worked at Reliance Electric.
Yeah.
And it's got a Reliance electric motor in it.
Yeah, that was that was perfect. You just push it up on there.
Yeah.
Nice flat thing.
Perfectly
Put it up
flat.
on
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna put this on the curb, and I'm like, no.
That's
you
in
come
his
to my
garage
house.
now.
And he's like,
Yeah.
the next day, he's like, all right, cool, let's go to your house. I'm like, my garage is a mess.
I wasn't ready for that. How dare you make that happen so quick?
Until you
I like that
call
one.
me on my
That was a good
bullshit.
one.
It is a good lift, and it served me well. That was my first lift. That was my dad's lift. That became my lift. And if you could put electricity to it, it had an up button and a down button, and it was just an electric motor that up and down.
And it was a nice big table. Like
was
you
a big
could walk,
flat table.
you could walk the bike up onto it and put it up on the center stand, then get off and put the bike up.
I did my CBX on that lift. I did my H2 on that lift. I did all kinds of bikes on that lift because it was a wooden deck with sheet metal hammered over the edges.
like stainless steel.
Yeah.
Or aluminum.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it was stainless. Yeah. And
You know what I do with the Harbor? Because I have a Harbor Freight one that I got from you.
Yeah.
I have 4x4s cut to 2-inch lengths.
okay.
And
Yeah.
so then I get the bike up and then I pull it down off the hydraulics,
Yes.
and I have a 4x4 front, back, side, and side. It ain't going anywhere, man. Or a jack stand, either one of those.
And that
two.
is one of the things about the Harbor Freight lifts is the Harbor Freight lifts have been known to leak down.
Yeah.
So
But they all come with a rod. There's holes. You can stick
Yes.
the hole, you know.
Yeah, I know, but you don't want. I just that way you're like, yeah, the holes, but the whole thing though is still supported from the middle. So then you have that wobble. So if you put jack stands on the sides or front and back like that, now it supports the whole square and it ain't going anywhere. So you're
So,
cool.
John, I used that support on mine, and I couldn't raise it again.
Oh.
I had to bleed the
hydraulics
bleed
out.
the jack to get it to work.
Oh. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know. Mine's been in the up position for a long
for a very, very long time. Yeah. And so there are some new technologies out there that are actually kind of cool when it comes to lifting up your motorcycle. And this is one that I had found. It's called the company's called Easy Riser, Rizer, Easy, all the Z's.
It
Right.
just looks scary though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it does,
does.
doesn't it? It looks fucking terrifying. It doesn't look like it would do well.
It looks like
It's
it's
a
a
lot of bike
magician
on
with
one
the
little
hidden
pole.
shit exposed.
Yeah.
Like it looks like the guy levitates a
Well, I
fucking
mean-
gold wing and that's how he does it.
I mean, the truth being is since that thing weighs as much as my Honda Civic, the fact that the legs are that short really makes me nervous.
yeah, and how does it not flip the other way?
Okay. Well, here's the couple of interesting things about it. First of all, this is not hydraulic. This is not electronic. This is a screw. A helical screw. Which is actually way safer than
And you can
hydraulic.
probably use a drill, right? Zzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can use your Milwaukee or Harbor Freight or whatever type of impact drill driver you've got to put this thing up. It's actually pretty brilliant. And what else is cool about this thing is it folds perfectly flat so it can lay against your garage or you can hang it on a hook in your garage wall. And for me, in my world, one of my favorite things about a lift is that it's not there when you don't need it to be there. And when it's no longer lifting, I'd like my lift to not be there or else it's going to turn into the shittiest workbench in my shop and just catch garbage, right?
I think I might just push the bike and the lift out on the curb.
Right. And this thing's called the Big Blue. And the Big Blue, it's tested to 2,000 kilograms.
Oh.
Wow.
That's for over 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, that was-
right. 2 tons.
So it's out at an angle on the.
It is on a bit of
Oh,
a,
yeah,
it is a
probably
bit of an
like this,
angle
so that it can't-
so that as it lifts the load goes to the geometric or the balance point, the center of gravity
It
of
is
the middle.
cantilevered.
It is fucking
Yeah.
cantilevered. And then they have different brackets that you can buy for different motorcycles that you might own. What killed me is this is 400 pounds UK, which is only about 600 US right now. And for $600, this is actually a really nifty solution if you're the occasional home gamer that isn't going to do this for a living, but needs to get your bike up in the air so you can work on it, clean it, do all the fun shit. Kind of amazing. Haven't seen this product in the United States yet. What I did want to call attention to is I have seen other products that are similar to this. And that's why I'm bringing this one up as the first example. So this one for the kids playing at home, this is called the Easy Riser. Like the word easy with a Z, riser with a Z. Got it? And it's the Big Blue. If you type in Big Blue, you might get a lot of weird responses. So just trust me on this one. It's called the Big Blue.
But you could get
Make
that.
sure you turn safe search off.
Good idea.
And don't
You
look
can-
up blue waffles.
Again, just trying to save you guys some time.
You can get that here, though.
Yes, you
like you
can.
could place that order and
Yep.
buy it in American
You
dollars.
sure can.
Okay.
The problem is Harbor Freight did a version of this.
Oh no.
I see the screen from over here.
It's made out of pool noodles.
I think I've.
Well, here's the thing: the big one
I've seen
that
that at
holds the
San
whole
Francisco,
bike is
that-
kind of questionable. So this has to be interesting.
Well, I have one like that at home, but it's in the bedroom.
Don't we all?
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah.
think typically those
Don't
come
let
in,
Tina know.
Typically those come in black though.
They come in vinyl or studded chrome, right? So I wanted to bring your attention to this one because I own this one. This is in my showroom in my shop right now.
Oh my goodness.
It's there. It's real. It's a thing that you can go and see if you would be interested in seeing it. The stop. All right. So there it is. There it is. Okay. So what this is this is the Harbor Freight high position motorcycle lift and bondage device. This is a real thing. It has a bottle jack as that's what it gets its lifting mechanism from. It has a series of parallelograms that it uses to push weight into the sky. It is designed to does have a safety latch on it. I promise you.
And it is made 100% of fail.
Well, again, I would like to introduce you to the very attractive price of $200.
Yep.
Right? $200. How bad could it possibly be?
How
Motorcycle
bad could
lift
it
can
be?
support a bike up to 1,100 pounds. I have had my Harley Road Glide, my Road King, on this lift. It's very convenient. It slides under your bike. It's got wheels on the back of it. Slides in like a little pallet jack or whatever. And then you just get to pumping. And you get to pumping and it lifts the son of a bitch right up. It doesn't lift it super high.
Nope.
Right? But it does a good job of lifting it. So you need to get tires off a bike or wheels off a bike in a hurry. It's really good for that. Use the safety straps,
And
please.
you always lose the locking pin every time. It is what it is.
Not when I use it.
Oh, well, I've had multiple
Hey, Phil,
of these.
Tom lost your locking pin.
Thankfully, I have not had to use this.
When I use the locking pin comes out of the hole. It stays in my hand.
Yeah.
I pump it up. It goes back in the hole.
But Tom found out that it wasn't there.
But according to Tom, you always lose the locking pin.
always lose the
All
locking
right. So, but this is an interesting thing. I'm just going to read you the show notes version of this. Harbor Freight Tools announced a recall for a certain Central Hydraulics high position motorcycle lift due to 2 possible issues. Not one issue. One's enough for a recall.
Yep.
2, welds that may be susceptible to fatigue cracking.
And they are.
I don't know if you guys have ever looked at any welds on Harbor Freight equipment. They're not great.
No.
Okay.
Those are usually by the 18.
But then again, we also discussed that you can look at the welds on a $68,000 side-by-side and be very unimpressed too.
Also true.
Yeah.
And also tubing quality that may be insufficient to repeatedly lift the loads for which this lift is rated.
Also, not even because the seals like to blow out.
Right. I was going to say the obvious one, which is the seals are going to fail.
I have literally replaced the bottle jack on at least 3 of these.
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed. Fucking guaranteed. Okay. If the welds and or tubes fail, the lift may fall unexpectedly and or drop its load. I love the term drop its load.
This is why you wanted Sean.
Well, shucks.
Sean, now it's obvious why you brought
Unexpected straps. Oh no.
He's like, wait, it's got booty straps and loads? What is this thing?
Use the safety straps because it may accidentally drop a load on you. Okay, after you're done pumping it.
Goodness.
Right. The only problem is it may drop its load early before you're done pumping it.
Well, yeah, if you pump it too fast, it goes up too quick and it dumps the load.
It dumps the load.
I've done that a few times.
We've all been there.
We've all
been
been
there.
Okay. Back to the boilerplate. This in turn could cause injury to people around the lift and or their bikes or property in the vicinity. In the vicinity of this contraption.
This is why you have to have your area marked out when you're going to play with one of these.
Yes.
Otherwise, you drop your load too early.
The load splash zone.
Yes. Before you start pumping, go out in the intersection and sound your shotgun to make sure that there are no horses in the intersection before you elevate your load.
No. It's good to have your play space to be wide open.
So, the affected item number is 99887. Public service announcement, by the way, from the folks at Cleveland Moto. If you have one of these in your garage, get rid of it. Which should be present somewhere on the lift itself and or any packaging that came with it. Now, here's the thing. Got to give Harbor Freight credit for this one. Do you think it affected 8 lifts? Did you think it affected 20 lifts? Oh, no. It affected lifts sold between 2008 and 2023.
Oh, so just a little bit.
41,715 lifts may be affected.
I have literally owned, over the course of the past 20 years, probably 4 of these lifts, and every single one of them has failed.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight's official recall for this motorcycle lift states, in no uncertain terms, owners of this lift should immediately stop using the high position motorcycle lift. Do not attempt to repair the product. No, you can't weld on that metal. Use of all caps is taken directly from the Harbor Freight recall notice.
Oh, no, the welding rod would go right through that.
It absolutely would. Now,
I think they could be repurposed into like a boat anchor or something.
I think sex toy.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, it's,
I
Well,
think-
no, if it
right.
won't lift that much weight, you can't use it.
I think it's a dunking stool.
put a beanbag on it.
That's how you test if somebody's a witch. You put that on the side of your pool, and you can test.
Yeah, you take the hydraulic part out of it and you put a longer arm on it,
You'll
you're
be
good to
fine.
go.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. But here's how you unfuck yourself. So if you have now owned one of these and you'd like to get yourself properly unfucked, Harbor Freight doesn't want that back. They don't. They want to give you $200 and thank God you're not in the hospital already.
Really?
They want you to bring in one part of that machine,
That is
the hydraulic bottle jack.
that is actually
They literally are saying, don't you dare pollute our store with that piece of Chinese crap. We fucked you once. We'd like to forget about that.
Yep.
We don't want those things clogging up our shop. So please do not bring me the whole motherfucker because we don't want to have to ship those things to the dump or
So
whatever.
what you're saying,
is
all the people on Marketplace that don't know about this,
Yes.
that I can go buy these for $15 now
yeah.
and get 100 of them and
I'm
just
gonna
take
say-
the bottle jacks. I have a new operation to make money.
no. Here's what you do.
Okay.
Or grab the one off of Johnny Mac's tree lawn.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. I did a little work for you guys.
Okay.
That is a 14-inch throw bottle jack that exists on Temu for $7.99.
There you go.
And if you get that bottle jack and you order a dozen of them on Temu, who's to say you can't take one of those to your local Harbor Freight and get a gift certificate? They're giving you a card for $200, $199.99. So for every one of those that you take into Harbor Freight,
Full disclosure, we do not recommend this, nor do our lawyers recommend
This
you
is just
follow
a
our
thing. This
instructions.
is all hypothetical, dude. Relax.
do you know how many Toyotas I turned in? Then shut the fuck up. Okay? I will proudly tell you guys how to turn 150% profit on a roached in half Toyota Tacoma. Yeah. I made a job out of that. All right? That got me through some rough times. The fact that Toyota's broke in half in 2000 to 2015 put food on the table for me for a while. All right? The fact that Tacomas would fold in half unexpectedly become an A-frame tent.
Well, this is why they called them tacos.
Tacos, exactly. But I'm just telling you, if you just, because Harbor Freight gets that Ram somewhere, China, and you know that you have access to China too. So if you did want to maybe get a little skin back from Harbor Freight, I'm just saying that's not what I would do, but I'm gonna. That's how that works. So that's that thing right there, $200 back in your
Does the
pocket.
same bottle jacks on our lifts?
No, the bottle jacks on our list are super shorties.
Damn it.
This is a long ram.
Yeah.
So this is a long stroke ram, hydraulic ram. It is like
That
it,
shoots its load early.
but it's just instead of being an 8-inch stroke, it's a 14-inch stroke. That's all. Right.
That shoots its load early.
It does. It has been known to have a bit of an unsecure load.
Right.
And I guess if you go too hard or you break it, then it's kind of it's ED.
So you're gonna break it off?
Well, what I can tell you is I searched all of the Google and I couldn't find a picture of a broken one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
If you got one and if you feel lucky, just keep using the cocksucker. But
Google flaccid bottle jack.
yeah. You
A bottle jack that can't get it up.
yeah. Oh, I did Google bottle jack failure, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Harbor Freight also had a problem with its jack stands.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there was a problem with Harbor Freight jack stands killing people.
There's a reason why I just call it horror fraught.
right. Hazard fraught.
Horror fraught.
Well, there's things you buy there and there's things you don't buy there.
Well,
You have to
I
learn.
don't want to lay underneath a car with some hazard fraught jack stands on
I
it.
bought a belt sander there. I stripped the back porch with it. When the motor burned out, I took it back and went, this thing fucking broke. And they're like, all right, here's your $15.
Yeah, I mean, they know they're winning.
Yeah.
Right. The entire store,
cost
if
them
the whole store burns
$3.
down, it's $48.
I got a 3-inch
It's like Temu Live.
3-inch cutting wheel, a pretty powerful one, you know. And I was stoked. I was like, this thing's awesome, man. I was using it. I was cutting a bunch of shit, like a 1/4 inch of steel with a nice blade.
Yeah.
And I turned it on the one time and I let go of the thing and it wouldn't shut
No, it
off.
won't
And it
shut
no
off.
longer shut off.
game
I'm like,
on.
what the fuck do I do? Time to unplug it. And that was it.
Aim the blade at the cord.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Yeah, right.
Look, this is not Craftsman we're talking about here. This is horror. This is horror fraud.
I promise you, the 1/2-inch electric plugs into the wall on a cord. The 1/2-inch drive knuckle fucker impact thing that they have
Oh yeah.
will put on and take off or break anything.
Yeah.
I've never in my life been in touch with a 110 volt piece of equipment
Those are amazing.
that contains so much violence. that if you latch onto a nut on a truck that is like not giving up the ghost, like a 23 mil or something that's on there,
Yeah.
and you give that thing the beans, hammer impact is an understatement of the century.
Oh, dude.
It will fucking turn your arm at the shoulder.
Milwaukee just sent us last week at Summit a brand new 1-inch 48-volt fucking braking thing
With 700 pound-feet of torque.
I think it's 1,200 down
Yeah.
with the thing, and it has 2 bars that are 2 feet long that you
that's
put
so
on
you
the
can hurt
outside of
people
it.
next to you.
Well, but no, it says like warning death. Like you can't
Yeah.
use it by yourself.
No.
It has to be 2 people, and
Yeah.
each side has to trigger together.
And they have to weigh the same.
Yeah,
Because if you get on there with Oscar's going to the moon.
But I've never seen. I guess I don't work on semis, so I've never seen a 1-inch fucking snub before. Like the thing is that big, and the nub is like this. It's like Jesus Christ,
This
man.
is one of those moments where I wish Becky would just show up.
You're supposed to just stand back and let the hammers do the work. No, we're going to throw torque at the problem.
Yeah.
Right? You're
it's-
supposed to just, the idea is like the 9,000 hits with the little baby hammers eventually loosens it up.
Right.
Now the game is they want to hit it with 1,200 foot-pounds of torque when you hit the button.
Yep.
But all that does is hurt you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you know
So what you want to do is brace this against the floor.
Right.
But
right.
think about
Exactly.
how
With
far-
two breaker
And
bars
hold
on it.
it on
Yeah.
the other end with like a ratchet strap and like 3 trucks.
What's the record length for the use of the term cheater pipe?
20 feet.
10, I was gonna say I've used 10 and 12. I don't know about beyond that. You got to have something.
After that,
really
is it just like no?
You know
no,
you've gone too far when you bend the ratchet.
Yes.
Well, the bigger problem is the connector
Snap
part.
on.
The bigger part of the correct snap off. That's the problem.
I'm going to tell you, I broke a snap-on 3/4 drive, and I was shocked.
I kind of miss having Sears, so you can walk in and you go, "I broke this," and like we don't care.
That's called Harbor Freight now.
Right.
Yeah. Did you see
we expected
before
that.
they all broke up? This is a couple years ago, but Donut did a whole thing. Donut Media on YouTube. They took Harbor Freight, Sear, whatever it was, Snap-on, and all these different brands, Rigid, and they did all these tests.
Yeah. Put them in
And
a
like,
torque.
and it was pretty
on torque and fire.
surprising. It was pretty surprising how some of the big high end guys, like their things just snapped right off. Where Harbor Freight's might have bent a little bit, but it didn't just break off.
May have been.
Everybody I know that has been down the snap-on wormhole calls it snap off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because oh my god, I broke this. You take it back to the truck.
I agree.
And Phil, what have you said about the Matco truck that comes by?
Don't ever fucking look at it.
Is it like a vampire? If you
When the
invite them in,
when the Matco truck pulls into George's Automotive next door to our shop, I'm like, don't even look. Don't even make eye contact. Nothing. I've chased that guy out of my shop 4 or 5 times.
Oh man.
The one time I was like, he was like, nah, really, I got some stuff on the truck even you'll like. And I was like, I told him, I'm like,
Was it called free money?
and I said, we have a rule in my shop. I've asked you to leave. And once I asked you to leave, if you stay, you're trespassing. So my office is over there. I have a 3-foot machete in my office. If I get to the machete and get to the door before you do, it's your ass. And the guy was like, ha, 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 very funny. And I was like, dumbass. Here it goes. I went to my office. I came out with a 3-foot machete. And he was like, you weren't lying. I was like, you're not at the door yet. And I started, and I gave as much of an intimidating sprint as I could give. He didn't know I couldn't make it to the door, but just the same, he went through the door, and he never ever darkened my door ever again. He's like, the guy in a fucking moped shot's fucking weird. Yeah,
that story almost killed me, dude.
PTSD or something.
That shit went down my lungs, my throat, fucking everywhere.
At least you died laughing.
No,
right?
but I sound like a cougher now because it has gator juice down inside my lungs.
Gated juice. Gated juice.
You gotta suck it in deep, man.
Oh man, that is no fun. Oh man. So the cheap and cheerful, the Harbor Freight lift that we all know and love that used to be $300 is now $549. I looked around. There are no super duper coupons. You can sometimes find it for $426. On a super duper sale.
It's called the Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know the code on Harbor Freight? So when Harbor Freight has a really, really shitty tool, they call it a Chicago. And when Harbor Freight has a tool that actually kind of does what it's supposed to do, they call it a Pittsburgh. Oh. And in their hand tools and their wrenches and screwdrivers, a lot of their Taiwan-built tools are called Pittsburgh, whereas the Chinese version, the ones that are usually free with a coupon, are the Chicago version.
But didn't they just come out with like a high end?
Oh yeah,
What
we're
are
not
those?
gonna, I'm not.
We're not
I
there
don't.
yet.
Sorry.
When they're a fucking sponsor, I'll do that.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
But until
no.
then, they wouldn't even sponsor our bike build off.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, when they're a sponsor, I'll say something nice about them. But until then, fuck them. Until then, they're just flooding the market with shitty tools, right? And they can do their best to say that their impact driver or the cordless thing is better than green or blue or orange or whatever, but it ain't gonna work.
You ever see those skits with the guys that dress as all the
Yes.
different things?
Yes.
Those are amazing, man.
Oh, they're pretty fucking.
Oh,
amazing.
I thought that was going to be a 549 mini bike that looked like a
They're coming. I guarantee you at Mid Ohio, you're going to see baggers, little mini baggers running fucking everywhere.
So, as you will, I want you guys to take a look at this picture and tell me, because you guys all know the Red Harbor Freight lifts. You might even have one. If you know me,
on top of one.
I was going to say, if you've known me for any period of time, I probably gave you one.
Yeah.
So I would like to call your attention to the motorcycle that is on this lift. The motorcycle that's on this lift is not that size. What you got going on here, folks, is some Photoshop. This is a Harley-Davidson Dyna. And if you put a Harley-Davidson Dyna on this particular Harbor Freight lift, its back tire will literally be right at the end of the lift.
Yeah, and also,
Yep.
like when I had the Harley on the thing, I had to take that black thing off and put the front tire like right at the front of it and strap it
You
down.
will have to.
Yeah,
I promise you. I know this lift pretty damn well.
Yep.
So what I can tell you a couple of things about this. I like Harbor Freight now is putting a little logo on here that says that this device, which I know has failed under many of my friends, and it has a particular trick that's fun when you're trying to put your bike onto it and you're pushing your bike up onto it, and then the lift goes, well, I have wheels too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so the front wheel of your bike gets on the lift, and then you, the bike, and the lift all put a hole in your garage wall.
Yep.
Yep. Because these things go fast.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But it does have,
I
if
don't
you
know
actually use it and put the screws that it comes with like into a floor crack or a rug or something, it can stick pretty good.
I don't know what bearings they use in those wheels, but I have had roller skates that have not moved fast enough.
Not moved as fast as these lifts do.
I know roller skates.
Oh,
Like, I'm in this.
I have accidentally reached back and leaned on one of these lifts just to steady myself in the shop and moved a motorcycle 9 feet.
Yeah.
And the little screws that they have are only on one side of it.
No, in the middle.
So what's the heaviest bike you'd put on this lift?
So they say that this is a 1,000-pound lift.
No.
And what I can assure you is that out of pure desperation one time, I put a Honda CB750 on one of these in Dustin's garage, because in Dustin's garage, we used to have a red, one of these lifts, the old Venerable or the yellow, no matter, same lift. And then I also had my Kendon. We'll talk about the Kendon in a minute. And we were just stymied for a place to put the CB750. So we put the Honda CB750 up on this lift and we started pumping it up. And the problem with this is you'll notice that it uses parallelograms to give you the lifting advantage. When the bike is anything over 6 or 12 inches in the air, it's carrying its weight bias to the rear of center. So it is easier to tip this thing than you can imagine. And the center of gravity of the motorcycle, if it's off to the left or off to the right at all, this entire thing's going over because it doesn't exactly have a wide footprint. So because the footprint of this lift is very narrow, the motorcycle you're putting on it could even be wider than these little tiny wheels. Yep. These wheels that only have like a 1/8 of an inch contact patch, and they're metal. So the jacks that are on the front of it that screw down into the ground, all they do is they pick the casters up. Mm-hmm. So the idea is you screw the jacks all the way into the ground, they're into the ground stably, and you can adjust them for windage, like for left or right, an unbalanced floor. But the back roller wheels are still very much roly-poly.
You're right.
And they do go. The other thing about this is the lifts themselves, the bottle jacks on these are notorious for having leaky seals.
Yep.
They do.
But the cool part is because that bottom's small, you can fit jack stands under the front and back without a problem. And then 4x4s, it's harder to get a jack stand on the sides. You can, but depending on your jack stand.
Oh, yeah.
But if you just cut 4x4s to the things and then kind of tap them in and let it go down to it, it's perfect.
And I found out the same thing. I just took my tape measure out and measured the exact length. I took 1 inch black pipe.
That too.
And I bought some and I actually notched it and I put that against this square cut, the angle iron that's on this thing, and it can't move. And it is stable as fur, right? Unless some kid tries to climb up on it, in which case the whole thing's coming over on them because it doesn't have outriggers.
Right. Well, that's what those things do.
Yeah.
You can like literally push the bike. It ain't going anywhere when you put all the stuff underneath it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These are sketchy. The front wheel chock business is not a good idea. That is not to be trusted under any circumstances. You'll see in the picture, this son of a bitch has got a canyon dancer on it. And then 2 straps that are going perfectly vertical. That ain't triangles.
No.
Don't trust that. This bike is already falling off this list. That's how I know it's Photoshop.
Do you have, you know what? I was going to ask you about this, but maybe other people would like to know too. So I want to replace the vise at the front of my lift.
Yes.
Is there a vise that you recommend?
I'm going to recommend getting a Condor wheel chock that you roll into and it flips over and actually holds the front wheel.
Yeah.
Or a
Condor. What's that?
Or a Baxley.
Or a Baxley, or the copy of the Baxley, because the Baxley clamps onto your wheel when you put your wheel in it. It's universal. It basically determines how wide your wheel is and grabs it with a great degree of intensity. We have one at the shop. Okay. It's amazing how you can put it in there and walk away. Huh. I don't recommend it. When we use these, you'll see that they have the U-bolts there for the tie-down straps to go into. We add 2 more U-bolts to each one of these lifts. So we have triangulated straps on the front and at the back. We have straps pulling forward, straps pulling backwards every time we use these. If you do put a jack in the middle of this to jack the center of the bike up, be fucking careful if you do that, if you still have your tie-down straps on. So if you want to change the back tire on your motorcycle and you're using one of these lifts, your natural intention is going to buy the scissors style jack that slides nice and easy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got a couple of comments.
Yeah.
So Matthew Digman, is there a lift that you recommend for home use, i.e. cost and efficiency? And then question for Phil, can a small scissor lift get my wide glide up high enough to change for seals? And
Fork seals.
Fork seals.
Yeah.
It can't. It can't. There's a trick. We can tell you what the trick is, but we'll just tell you what the trick is in a second. Go ahead.
Redong says either Canyon dancers work or they pay Phil to promote. He's mentioned them for years.
Yep. Yeah. Canyon dancers do work. Canyon dancers are the way to tie into your motorcycle without trusting the grips, which are held on by glue, usually.
Yep.
They also work good as opposed to staying away from your switches and stuff, which are really expensive. Canyon dancers work great if you have enough angle to make the triangles good.
There are some exceptions to the Canyon Dancer.
Absolutely.
But like Lambrettas, do not tie down a Lambretta with Canyon Dancer.
You'll crack the headset.
crack
There's
that
a lot
headset
of
right in
motorcycles
half.
that you can crack the headset on.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Oh, shit.
indeed. They're pop metal. They will break the hell off.
They really will.
Actually, no. Wait, you have an LD.
He's got an LD. They have actual handlebars.
Yeah, they have actual handlebars.
okay.
You're
Anyway,
good.
back to this. On this one, I would never use Canyon dancers. I would put the hooks straps right to the triple clamps.
Yeah,
Right to the triple clamps below the headlight.
The lower fork is the way to go.
Lower fork is exactly right. I would go to the triple clamp underneath the headlight. It's firm. It's solid. It's going to take up the slack. The problem is when you put a scissors lift under this thing, make sure that you adjust your straps accordingly. If you start jacking up the middle of that motorcycle and you've got your tie-down straps tight, you're going to bend something. I have seen people turn these lifts into a banana.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Literally bend the steel of the lift and or damage the motorcycle
knowing
to
how,
use the dropout.
You know, everybody always laughs about knowing how the circumference of a cone and everything else in trigonometry and calculus. I never needed any of that crap. This is where you actually need to know
it comes
how
into
math
play.
works.
If you raise up the back of that motorcycle, you're putting a hell of a lot more tension on those straps, and what they're going to can break off.
You got to know where your turning points are.
Yeah, I agree. So that's the thing. So now to get to now these are fine if you're doing lightweight motorcycles. Like Dan said, I think this is a 600-pound max lift.
Yeah.
I had my 550-pound America on it once, and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying.
I mean, I put like a single overhead cam Honda on the CB750 and stuff on these before and not had a problem because we were broke and this is the way to go. Yeah. But having used handy lifts, I'm going to go with handy lift 9 times out of 10, and you can buy them for about $300-$400 used off marketplace.
Okay, but a handy lift brand new is $4,000
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly.
So if you're going to buy a handy lift, brand name handy lift, made in America handy lift, you're going to spend $3,000 to $4,000.
Or a knockoff, you can buy them for about 15 to 12. 12, 15.
Exactly.
But these will do in a pinch for anything up to, and I'm going to say about 750 light.
But the thing too, I think, is if you're realistic, like I don't really put the one that you gave me over 12 inches high.
Right.
Like I don't really see a need most of that. Maybe 14, but like I'm not doing that.
Now,
I've never extended that thing that tall. Ever.
Now, if I had a Dyna or something like this something heavy like this, and I was going to use it consistently, as this is my go-to, what I would do is make outriggers.
Yes. But we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. So we're going to get to that because our listener, our person who's playing along in chat wants to know what we do recommend. So we're going to honor that.
Kendon single rail.
Exactly. I'm glad you asked.
Thanks, Todd.
Sorry,
right, thanks for taking all that out. You're right. Absolutely saved us much time.
All right, guys. No, thanks for playing.
Don't need to wait till the end.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's great.
Sorry.
Tom's going to get his privileges taken away soon.
Well, but this is not the only thing. So
It's not the only thing.
want to specify that the reason I say this particular lift is I've owned a bunch of lifts. We've had a bunch in the shop. And we use them a lot, man. Our lifts get beat the hell up. And the one lift that I've had that I keep going back to is this particular Kendon. And Kendon does make good stuff. So let's clarify that they do make some pretty cool shit. And that when Kendon does manufacture some stuff in Asia, they're not 100% America like they used to be.
Talk about somebody we need to be sponsored by.
Yeah, well, I couldn't even get them to make me a dealer, Tom.
That's true.
Because what they said was, we don't want you selling our product when we sell our product just fine without you.
Oh.
Okay? And that's exactly what they said. There was no debate about it. It was, we do fine. We don't need your help. Right? And I honestly believe them with every fiber of my being that they're right. Because they do great.
At least they're honest.
Well, and if you've ever owned a Kendon product, you've probably told your friend about it.
Oh.
And, when I quote discovered Kendon folding trailers 35 years ago, I think I've turned on 50 people to Kendon folding trailers. So when you go to Scooter Rally now and you see everybody with Kendon folding trailers, it's because I showed up with one 35 years ago, right? And I was pretty happy with it. So this particular lift that they build, one of the major reasons that I like this sucker is because it stands up, and it's literally called a stand-up lift. Huh. Why is that so goddamn important? Well, it's so goddamn important because you don't always use the lift, right? Sometimes you need your garage to be a garage, okay? And when you need your garage to be a garage, having a lift that legitimately stands up in the corner and takes up less room than a 10-speed bicycle is a pretty cool thing. And it's about $1,200.
Huh.
And it will lift anything you want to put on it. You know what I like about it? Harbor Freight says that their lift holds 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that for a second. Kendon says that their lift holds 600 pounds, and I wouldn't hesitate to put 850 on it.
Huh.
Okay, because I have put 850 on their lift. I do know what their lift can handle because I put all kinds of bikes on their lifts. Their stuff is good. It is legitimately good. When you have a problem with it, they're right there to help you. They are pretty great. I do like this lift for the home gamer. I really do. I think it's a great lift, and I think that if you have one of these, you're going to like it. It comes two ways. One is the pump it up with your foot, and the other way is the pneumatic where you hook it up to your shop air. So it comes either way. You can buy it either method.
So there's an older version of the Kendon single rail. Mm-hmm. This is not the one I remember. It actually has two cradles for the front wheel and rear wheel, but it's all tubes.
Yeah. Well, that was the old one. They got rid of that one because tubes aren't that strong. And this one's real strong.
That was as weird as it sounds. After Katrina, my old asshole boss, he had one.
Yeah.
And he had a Ducati 748 up in the air on that, waiting for belts. Mm-hmm. And that was the only thing in the shop that didn't flood and didn't fall over.
Because it was 3 feet in the air.
It was 3 feet in the air, saved the bike.
Right.
And the lift stayed up the entire time. No locks.
Yeah.
Stayed up the entire time because it took a month for him to get back into the shop, and it stayed still.
What I like about this lift is those wheels that you see there extend out. Now, you guys might remember 13 years ago when we did the motorcycle show together and we brought out a lift for the motorcycle show. First of all, the union guys at the motorcycle show at the IX Center are a bunch of cockknockles that were like, oh, you can't bring anything in here that's got 4 wheels on it. You need to pay the union $180 to move that for you. So I was like, fine. And I lifted up the front end of the Kendon. We rolled it in on 2 wheels. take that asshole. Right. But then when we got it in the booth, we extended those wheels out, gave it a nice 4-foot wide footprint, jacked that thing up. And then when, Snotty Tommy, the 8-year-old comes up and wants to climb on my lift, it ain't going over. Right. Whereas I can't have that kind of trust with the Harbor Freight lift.
Yeah.
Whereas on this thing, it's been in my shop for years. That's my go-to lift where I have my service department in the shop, where I work on bikes. I love this lift. And yes, it does cost more, twice as much as the Harbor Freight lift.
Yeah.
But the Harbor Freight lift does not do this trick where it folds up in less than a minute. It folds up instantly. You roll it up to the corner of your garage, fold the ass end of it, and just stand it up.
And most people who have this is their hobby, not us who do it for a living.
It's not their job.
This is not a bad investment.
No,
$1,100 is not bad.
And for a lift that your bike won't fall off of.
Exactly.
The downside with this is it's not a table. It's a rail.
Dude, look how this website was made. 275 people currently viewing.
Right.
What?
Yeah,
right.
You know that's not happening. Oh, wait. Maybe it is.
Is it Saturday night?
Oh, maybe
Everybody sitting home bored?
They're counting the 10 of us in this room here.
Yeah. Refresh the page and see if it's gone up another 200.
I will take that. No, it still says 275. All right.
Is the shipping crazy on the Kendon? Question.
Oh, you know what? They're not too bad. The last one that I bought, they charged me about $125 to ship it in. They do not. There's no showroom where you can go and buy one. And sometimes though, you can pick up a deal. You can buy them at Walmart. Walmart wants to sell you shit even if they don't make it or retail it or whatever.
Yeah.
So Walmart has a lot of outside products that they sell.
Actually, I was on this website earlier today.
Yeah.
And there's a dealer locator like search function here.
Yeah.
Iron Pony is listed.
Iron Pony is listed
as a dealer,
but they don't have these in stock.
Yeah. Okay.
They have the 3-rail trailers in stock. There's if you want to be a Kendon dealer, I can tell you guys all about it. You have to carry a certain spread of products to be a dealer for them, and unfortunately, their best-selling product they won't let you carry because that is a product that comes direct from China. And they drop ship those directly to your store. And we've sold them to customers before who insisted on that particular product because it's a very low price point. But when we looked at the quality, the QC on it, we were like, well, it's obviously from China. So it is what it is. For some people, that's going to work great. I really like my American one because I'm picky that way. But that Kendon lift right there is a really, really good lift. Now, here's interesting. Can we get you a lift for under $1,000? Thanks to Sleepy, we can. So thanks to our friend Sleepy, we can in fact get you a lift for under $1,000. And I did check this one out, and it's a good lift. Sleepy works for Summit Racing. Don't need to give him a plug because they pay him.
I was going to say, what's your referral code?
Right. Do you got one of those? You got a referral code?
Yeah, I'll have to do it. No, I don't.
Right.
No,
okay.
So if you're a Patreon member above $10, contact Sleepy.
Well, this is a good deal any way you slice it. And I think this is a good deal better than the Kendon because Tom will tell you we have this lift.
Yeah.
So we have 3 of these in my shop. I went on a spending spree a few years ago and I bought these. They're by Black Widow Motorcycle Lifts, which we have Black Widow ramps.
Yep.
They're a good product. Their their origin, I'm not sure. But what I can tell you about this particular lift is that this thing is 1,000 pounds and it means it because I put a fucking Nissan Figaro up on one of these. And between you and my friends, a Nissan Figaro is just north of 2,400 pounds. And this thing lifted a Nissan Figaro in the air like it was its job.
Yeah.
It didn't even sweat. I put the car on top of this thing and hit the up button and it just went straight in the air. So it's got a safety factor of about 2.5. The engineers were hard at work on this one. It is a beauty of a lift. It has a giant air cylinder on it. So it doesn't take much to get this thing up in the air. If you look, there's these giant roller wheels on it, which makes it smooth as silk. It doesn't hesitate. It's got a dropout to change your rear tires. It comes with a weird long handle with a bend in it with roller wheels so you can move the thing around the shop. Now, about that, this cocksucker's heavy. Okay? I'm not lying to you. This is a heavy bitch. I don't know what it weighs, but it weighs a lot. Do not think that you're going to be picking this thing up in your pickup truck and scooting it on home with you. If whatever they do, if they give you freight charge, you just pay it. This is not.
Well,
like,
what does it say? It should say like something about.
I'm gonna
shipping,
click on
right?
it.
Yeah. I'm
Multiple
interested.
truck freight parts and order machine. Yeah, okay, it doesn't. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, and it's pretty heavy.
I'm going to tell you this: at $975, this is a Sordic deal. Go out and buy this thing, because when I bought them for the shop, I paid $1,500 a piece for them, or $1,400 a piece for them. This is a really, really good lift. The front tire holder is legit. It will hold any motorcycle tire. This is good. Tom's.
I had a BV 250 up on one earlier today doing everything.
I have never had a problem with these lifts, and I have 3 of them.
Yep.
Never had a failure, nothing. And I've had them for over 10 years.
I will say I need to talk to Sleepy a bit about this, that one of them does have a leaking air seal after 10 years.
Yeah, after 10 years in the shop.
It still will lift a bike up all day long.
It'll get it to the top.
I just got to lock it down.
And then you got to do what, Tom? You got to flip the lock.
Yeah, just flip the lock and you're good to go.
It's not like it can't achieve erection.
No.
It gets
goes
fully
up.
erect.
It gets fully erect.
Right.
But
if you just don't
it does
lock
not
it,
dump its load.
it will dump its load.
Yeah, put the C-ring on it.
Just can't keep it up.
It's exactly.
It's
all you got to do, man.
It's a scissor. So like that, the front wheels scissor up with it. That's interesting, man.
This is a really.
It's a great lift. I'm not going to lie.
This is a really, really good lift.
Because I think the gray on red is actually a handy.
Yes. So the gray and red is a $4,000
It's a
lift.
really, really
Handy
nice lift.
scissoring?
I was just saying handy scissor.
I wake up to this.
Somebody
and I'm
just
like,
woke up to handy scissoring.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on,
We
pal.
are going to have to look at the hydraulic ram this year, but that's later.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
otherwise,
you can
it
put a seal
still
in it.
does its job all day.
And I'm really impressed by this. And if the people at home, if the guys playing at home are looking for a good lift,
Oh, yeah.
it's called the Rage Power Sport.
And does the new one have the dropout for the tire?
Yeah.
Because yours does not have the
I know,
dropout.
mine are older than this.
And
It's gotten
the
better.
most important thing you can have if you're doing rear, especially tires,
Yep.
is the dropout.
Yep. Yeah.
'Cause
And
that-
to our listener that asked earlier, can I do the forks in my Harley? How you do the forks in your Harley, you're not everybody has that Craftsman bullshit scissors lift thing.
Yeah.
That they were given away for a while. Like,
Scissoring.
it's just a platform.
Yeah.
And
I have one.
Yeah, we all have them. The people I've had 3 or 4 of them given to me, and they're really for ATVs. You can put it under an ATV, pump. It lifts the whole thing in the air about 12 inches, 14 inches. They're not real high. When you're taking forks out of a motorcycle, you need a lot of space. You need a lot of room to get the forks out of the bike, because unless you're going to take the wheels and the brakes and everything else out of the forks with it and strip them down that way, you're going to need about 16 inches of travel to get those forks out. Now, you can cheat that by aiming the handlebars to the left or to the right, using your side stand, leaning the bike all the way over and having a friend help you. Or you can use ratchet straps and go to the joists of your garage.
Yep.
Grab onto the triple clamps of your motorcycle, lift the bike with the ratchet straps and your back, and then basically clickety, 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 click, divide it up over at least 2 or 3 ratchet straps, because you're not stupid. You don't want like one of them to break. And also make sure that the guy that built your garage wasn't an asshole, and that your garage can handle it.
When I did the fork seals on my GS 850 at my Cleveland Heights house, when I hung it on there, it straightened in my garage. Like, pulled it back.
Nice.
I went and I shimmed it. And it was fine.
That's fantastic. That is really cool.
So what you needed was 800 pounds just to put it right.
I think that's brilliant.
I was panicking like a motherfucker though when it first started to move. I was like, ah!
My neighbor taught me a cool trick about changing the forks in your bike too, if you're cheap. And that is, if you have a place near you called Handy Rents, or rent anything, like you rent them, whatever. Lepo rents, whatever. They all rent motor lifts for taking take V8 motors out of cars.
Yeah.
If you don't own one, they're cheap as chips anyway.
Yeah.
But you can rent it for $12 a weekend. And you get one of those, which will fit in the back of your pickup truck.
Yep.
It is fairly light. And you use it like a cherry picker and do the straps to your triple clamp on your motorcycle. Tuck, 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 tuck. Up it goes. Change your forks. Bob's your uncle. Put it back together again. Hell, go to the back of your bike. Do your back tire at the same time. While you got the thing, $12.
And if you do it over Thanksgiving, you can fry your turkey with it.
You can do your turkey. That's right. You can deep fry your turkey in it, and then you get to meet the fire department.
You can. The other thing is you could roll the bike up on the lift backwards and clamp the back tire.
Absolutely.
And then
Oh, I do it all the
clamp up
time.
front, yeah.
I did that on my Toronto. I
That's
put it
actually-
on backwards, dropped it, and dropped the forks down through
If
it.
you've ever watched me do...
Chris, what do you got going on over there?
Happy New Year, guys. Greetings from Santa Cruz. From Knock.
Hey, knock. Fuck knock.
We love you, Knock.
Shady says, just thought you'd appreciate knowing that there's a small town in southeast of England called Fingringhoe.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a whole tour of naughty towns in England that like everybody wants to do.
Fingering hoe.
And Fingringhoe is one of those.
Split Hair says, last time I checked into the Black Widow, the shipping killed it. $4.75, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that.
Redonk says Summit has retail locations as well.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Me says 2020 Concourse and JD. That's what he's writing.
Jack Daniels.
And then Redonk says, is the clickety sound my back from humping my bike up?
Yes, it is.
That's all I got.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is the clickety sound.
So to get back to this, yes, the easiest way to do steering head bearings on a Vespa, Piaggio, literally any bike, is to put it backwards into the clamp, jack it up, drop it down.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
So this is what Johnny Mac was talking about.
Lower into the work.
Yep.
Yeah, let gravity take you into the work.
Especially got that drop out in the new ones.
Oh, out of here.
Okay, I was going into something cool there and I got sidetracked. Sorry
we
guys,
were
I
talking
lost
about
it.
scissoring and dropping loads.
Nope, it's okay. I'm sure I'll get it back. It's in there. I just got to find it. I promise.
Rattle around.
So what kind of a vehicle would you need to drive one of these fucking things? Like what vehicle would you need to pick this up if you wanted to pick that up from
Oh,
someone?
you could pick it up in a half-ton truck.
Oh, I mean, $19 will
But
get
you need like 4 guys to help you pull it off.
$19 will get you a U-Haul.
All right.
Yeah. Tom's right.
Go get a fucking U-Haul.
Go
Okay,
get
well,
the
no,
garden.
you made it seem like you needed like a semi to move this thing or something like that. Or how much does it weigh? Does it say?
Oh, I got to say that thing's 600 pounds.
Hey, Sleepy.
Oh, shit, really?
Sleepy.
Oh.
Sleepy?
What?
What? Oh, I was going to say, I literally can pick this thing up and drag it across the floor by myself with
No,
no
you
bike.
can't. You cannot pick that up and drag it across the floor yourself. No, you can pick up one side of it and slide it around.
All right, that's fair.
But
Do you
you
want to
pick
meet at
that
the shop?
cocksucker
That's
up.
fair.
I'll bring cameras if you want to meet at the shop tomorrow.
no,
we can
no,
see
no.
him drag
Oh,
his
you're
lift
gonna-
on.
No. He is right.
His
Up
nuts
on
are gonna
2
leave his
wheels.
body.
Up on 2 wheels.
Tom's
with
crazy
stride.
strong. Don't get me wrong. He's
got-
crazy baby
He's
Huey
got
strong.
the R power.
He does. But that fucker is 600 pounds.
No.
If it's a penny.
No, it's a heavy lift, but I can move it across the floor.
And there
but
is-
that's about it.
The one that I got, they came with railroad dolly, like a arm, like a tube that has railroad wheels on it.
Yeah.
And you put it under there and you use the power of leverage and you can skate it around your shop all
The
beautiful and easy.
power of math.
Or Tom just reaches down with his dick and picks it up and just carries it over his shoulder.
Taps into the retard string.
Exactly. All right.
We can't use that word.
You guys want to hear
It's
good?
called special.
Do you guys remember Tony Summerscales?
Yes.
What?
Here,
From England.
punishment. Grab one
What you
last
got,
one of
another
those.
one?
Yes.
All right.
God, you're a mean drunk.
Tony
It's not alcoholic.
Summerscales. And this is what we talk about. Patreons. Send us some cool shit. We'll read it. All right. Tony Summerscales. Hey, Phil and team. Happy New Year to you all. I'm glad you're enjoying my musings from this side of the pond. It made me smile to hear the request for a monthly update. So I'll keep writing if you're happy to keep reading.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well done.
Well played, sir.
What?
This month's update comes from the Isle of Man, or the Isle of Men. We're over here for a week through New Year visiting family. The island is as beautiful as ever, and we managed a bit of a fast lap
Oh shit.
over the mountain road before the storms arrived, which amused young Harry with a very legal plus 100 mile per hour thrash up the mountain.
Nice.
Even if it wasn't a Mercedes and not on 2 wheels. We had that taxi ride, damn near killed us. Oscar and I will talk about that forever. There are quite a few bikes on the road here, mainly Manx registered adventure bikes. Yeah, that's where multistradas go. But we've seen a few UK enduro bikes over here too, who look like they're taking full advantage of the legal tracks and trails across the island. We were talking about green laning. Absolutely. December started with the Reading Toy Run, which was attended by 1,304 motorcycles, all dressed in festive attire. See the attached photo of me and Harry on the Vision
Oh, I got to see this.
for the show notes. We are going to show you this. All right, give me a second here. We're bringing up an image for you, and we'll throw it over here we'll let the guys here at the podcast look for it first, so you can hear the round of applause of the men on the Vision.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Fuck yeah, man.
There he
It's a
is.
Victory Vision, right?
Victory Vision.
It looks like Johnny Mac
I was
driving.
going to say, this is like my brother.
Oh my God. You guys could totally be related.
He might be.
Yeah. Where's your brother? You sure your brother ain't just pulling a fast one? And
He's not as good looking as me.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So let's see if I can get this up to
But
the
he's as good looking.
boys and girls at home. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty neat. I'm going to go ahead and pull that. Watch out. Chris, you're connected. There you go. Nicely done. Nicely done. Speedy Pete through the room. All right. So let's see if they got it at home. Let's see if they get that. We want to make sure they can see all that vision of splendor with
there you go.
with two Father Christmases on it. Right? So they got that. The folks at home can see that. Two Father Christmases riding on the toy run. All right. Who's snacking?
That sounds like
Man, it sounded like I was going to say, it sounds like somebody was folding up. Like somebody was like, I'm going to fold this whole garage door. I'm going to fold this garage door and put it in my mouth. I don't think it was that.
Well, who got us all the snacks a couple of weeks ago?
Apologies.
Again.
That's pre or after.
It wasn't so much. It wasn't the mouth noises. It was literally somebody was folding up like a drive-through shelter or something. Right. Okay. All right. Check it out.
It was the nuts in my mouth.
It was.
I'm so totally sorry.
Those are some very, very chafed nuts. Okay. So here we go. There's a company on the island that rents enduro bikes and does guided off-road tours, and I'd suggest you should put that on your list of things to do when you next visit, as it'll give you a very different view of the island. I think you're right. That is pretty cool. Really good stuff. They dropped off toys to the local children's home. Each year we go a bit further with decorating the Vision, and this year we added a 4-foot Christmas tree to the back of the bike, complete with flashing lights and a ferry cable tied to the top. Sean, can you clear up the ferry cable thing?
I don't know that I can.
Okay, fair enough. We give it a shot. That's why you're in. You're a consultant.
Well,
It was the 38th year of running.
maybe this is an overseas thing that doesn't translate. I don't know.
Can't you call? Isn't there like an overseas network you can
I
give
know
a
the
call
rainbow,
over?
the international
Right,
rainbow
it's
network.
like trunk and boot.
Yeah.
Things are interchangeable. Flashlight and torch.
knob,
Right.
something.
knob and anything.
Knob
Fag and fag.
Yeah,
Fag and cigarette. Right, exactly. Well, how come we didn't do that one first?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the hell? We're slipping.
Tire.
Bad game.
Tire.
Dude, why didn't anybody have called me like,
Gay and weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
dude, how funny would that be? You'd be like, dude, you're such a cigarette.
yeah. I got it wrong.
Look, you bundle of twigs.
Yes. Good job, Tom. Way to pull the fascist into it.
Love it.
Nicely done. I'm impressed. All right.
What's brown and sticky?
A stick. It was the 38th year of running, and I've tried to attend as many as possible in my 30-odd years of biking. In a couple of years, it'll be the big 40th, so that makes it extra special. I want to figure out how to tow a sleigh behind the Vision. Well, fucking have at it, man.
Yeah,
it's a
that's-
Vision. It'll pull anything.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, it will pull a house.
It'll pull the rest of the island. You're
Right.
fine. Yeah, you got that steam railroad. Put it up. You got it. It's gonna do it.
That Vision needs a big red nose on it. That's what
Does
he's
need a
gotta
big
get.
red nose.
Wait,
man.
call back. It will pull a bundle of twigs.
It'll pull a bundle of twigs. It'll pull a big wheel, a big water wheel you have there. I got a new toy for the garage for I got a new toy for the garage from Mrs. S for Christmas.
I was hoping he wasn't saying he got a new toy for the missus. I
Is
was
this
like,
a-
I want to know
Is
about
this
it.
that
It's gonna make the next line a little more painful.
Oh,
if this was a
God.
toy for the
The
missus.
ferry cable.
A big blue bike lift.
Love it.
I've not had the chance to try it in anger yet, but it's very well made and one of the few bike lifts on the market that is man enough to lift the Vision. I agree.
Oh, wow.
Like every bloke left unattended with a bike lift, I have ridden it up and down a few times just to make sure it works. Of course,
This is still leading into the whole thing of the callback. To,
get there. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. They're made in the
Dropping
UK,
its
but available
load and-
worldwide, and it definitely provides a safe way to lift any bike off the ground. Here's a link for the show notes. We did that already.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. This is a lot about screwing.
Yes, it is. Screw top lift. I'm planning on rebuilding the front forks on both Victories before the spring. And this is going to make it much easier. I agree it will. So
absolutely.
I'll report back once it's been put through its paces. I'll sign off for now. It's time to think about heading out to visit Mom and Dad's summer scales. Yep. So ride fast and take chances, Tony. Tony, fucking thank you, man.
Yeah, that
was a
dude.
great. I mean, that's cool. We
I
like that.
enjoy this.
You know what, Tony, I like your check-ins, man.
Yeah,
I really
me
do. I
too.
appreciate it.
Love the visuals.
I do, and I just think it's fun.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't give us bullet points. He didn't say I did this and that. There was a little poetry involved. He was painting the picture of what was going on, and I appreciate that.
And it's fun to say summer scales.
It is. Yeah.
It is. You're absolutely right.
As
Our
opposed to
podcast,
winter scales.
our podcast listeners have good names. Right. So that's pretty rad. And I can now that I'm looking at the picture again.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture again. I can see the 4 foot tall Christmas
funny.
tree on the
Why
back of
am I
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
You're
then
laughing because you've had 3 THC fucking drinks.
I was gonna say, man, you're getting loopy down there. We're gonna cut you off. Are you on the?
But I
water,
will say this.
Are you on the water round?
The guy behind him on the Street Fighter in the cut, he looks like he's had just about enough of Tony's shit. If you look at the face on the guy behind him, the face on the guy behind him is 2 up. He's got the adventure helmet on. He's riding a Supermo. It's got hand guards on it. But you can see he's wearing his cut over his leather jacket with all his Isle of Man patches on it. Look at the picture on his face is just like, man.
You had me at Supermo.
He is super mo. But if you look at his face is like, Tony's happy as fuck. Like, that dude is living his best life. Got reindeer ears on his vision, the whole deal. But the guy behind him is like, yeah, you're trying too hard, bud. Yeah, you're trying too hard. Leave a little for the rest of us. That wins. That victory with the Christmas tree wins.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so impressed. That is rad. Well done, sir. Well done.
That dude might be an extra in a Mad Max movie.
The guy in the guy behind him.
Yeah.
He might be power pouting.
You know he's got a nickname though. That dude definitely has a nickname.
Yeah, he does. He does, and it's one of those nicknames too that requires some extra explanation.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Sugar
Nibbles.
knickers.
Like knob liquor or something like that.
I was
Sugar
just gonna say
nipples.
Sugar knickers.
Sugar nibbles.
Sugar nibbles. Knickers.
Or nipples.
Or nipples. Yeah.
Or Randy.
our friend down in Columbus, Mark. He's a handful. He's fun. He's a super cool guy, and he changed his name. And of all the names you could change your name to, like good names. I mean, I understand your name's Mark. It's the sound of a hair-lipped dog,
Right.
But he changed his name. Think about it.
He changed his first name.
That one's free.
Yeah.
He changed his first name. Changed his first
You get
name
a
to
plus on
Randy.
that one.
To Randy. Yeah. Like.
Well,
How-
then he changed his second name to Rainbow.
And he's
is the
not
big question.
23. The
Right.
guy's 50 years
Oh,
old.
yeah, I know.
And you're like, 50
Well, yeah, because
years.
I walked up to him and I'm like, "Hey, Mark, how you going?" He's like, "No, my name is Randy now." I'm like,
I thought he was pulling my dick. I really did not
"Well, this
think.
is the guy that slathered himself in lube to win
Yes,
the
he did.
potato game."
Yes, he
so
did.
you really cannot take him serious.
This is my point.
Like, okay, cool. Your name is now Randy.
Yeah. That was so weird.
Changed her name to Sandy Vagina.
Sandy Vagina. Hey, we got a new $5 Patreon member, Jason Colt.
Hey, remember, you don't get the jokes now.
Well, he
At 5?
at 5?
At 10, you do.
Right. Very, very, very cool. We've got a couple other guys. And again, you talked about good names, summer skills. How about Nathan Roundtree?
Yeah, great name.
Nathan
Classic.
Roundtree's a
Isn't-
good one.
Isn't Roundtree a chocolate? Is
I
that
guess.
overseas chocolate
Is
or
it?
a Roundtree's.
Oh.
Roundtree's is some kind of confection in
Okay.
England, I thought.
Yeah. Tony Summerscales did edit his membership to £8.50, whatever the fuck that is.
That's
So-
$10.
That's at least,
All
right?
day
Yeah,
long.
that's $10.
Oh, no,
He's
no.
getting the punchlines.
What you're thinking of
Wait.
is actually Richard Roundtree, who was Shaft.
Shaft. But I think he's got a D in his name. Yeah. Because he's Shaft.
I was going to say.
It's probably
One of
bigger
those was already there.
and blacker than you think. All right. Dave Marzilli. Dave Marzilli's in at the $10 level, picking up all the punchlines to the jokes. Good job. Well done, sir.
Well, I hope he's getting his money's worth.
I think he is today alone.
I don't think they ever do.
I think, no, they
This
really.
entire episode for anybody at $5 is just going to be and beep and beep.
Oh yeah, we're glad there's no right on. Right. Yay. So yeah. Anyway. So a couple of things. Oh wait, I think we did have one. There was somebody who wanted me to read their letter online because They said something about Youngstown.
Started out with Dear John.
You know Youngstown, right? Yeah, here we go. Greetings from scenic Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes.
Home of Isley's.
Is it?
Or was it?
Was it?
Yeah, I think.
all right.
That's the home of the Jim
No,
Trafficking
Isley's is
guy.
Pennsylvania, isn't it?
No, they had a
Isn't
major,
Youngstown in Pennsylvania?
they had a major presence.
We're giving it away. They can
over
have
there.
it.
It's in Western Pittsburgh.
Chip chop ham.
you
Chip
know,
chop ham.
Yeah.
There's a lot of in jokes here I don't get because
Well, what about Jim Trafficking? Didn't he? He's like the most corrupt politician in the country or something.
Well,
Comes from
yeah.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Itself.
Welcome. When
he had
Stephen
great
Colbert
hair.
was when Steve Colbert says that Ohio is the most corrupt state in America, you're like, little bit of pride.
Yeah.
You know what? Louisiana literally exists.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But apparently First Energy put them in second place.
Excuse me, Illinois.
Yeah, I'm gonna say well, at least
Louisiana's still
Chicago,
like-
right?
You know what? Louisiana was so corrupt, it sent their assholes that couldn't buy in
Yeah.
to St. Louis, and then those assholes went to Chicago.
We voted to resurrect a nuclear power plant that was that is in Indiana.
Eh.
That's some good corruption.
Dude, I was listening to Tom and I'm like, I must have fucked his EQ up really bad. And I took my headphone off. I'm like, that's just his fucking voice.
That's what it sounds like, man.
I sound like I weigh like 60 pounds. So.
Okay.
All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah, Youngstown.
Greetings from
Youngstown.
scenic Youngstown, Ohio. Alex, this is Dr. Wobstaquaw, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
This is a good day.
this is a good day. Literally, it's Dr. Wobstaquaw.
This is from our 5th listener.
I swear to God, I just love saying it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I get it.
He says, I hope you guys had a very merry Toyota-thon and a happy Honda Days or a great Kwanzaa-saki, whichever you may celebrate.
Yeah.
That's a sake. That's good.
In this Grom
Happy
Vulcan,
Honda days.
in this Grom Vulcan Tundra house, we celebrate all three, as we'll take any reason to eat, drink, and beat merry. Sometimes we even. Oh, hold on. I said that. He didn't say that. I said that.
Earlier. I said, look, if it's going to be that kind of party.
I would never imply that, but what he did actually say was sometimes we even drink to eat merry, but I'm not here to kiss and tell. I found you, gentlemen. Once you get past the.
You got it licked.
I found you, gentlemen, via Grom Beardo in his appearance last winter. Yay! Go, Aaron. I have done my best to consume as much of the back catalog as I can, and I found myself looking forward to the next episode to drop. So, a few weeks ago, I decided to jump into the Patreon pool as my way to show appreciation for the show.
Oh, man. Thank you, guys.
Yay.
I'm sure it paid for many shotgun shells.
Yep.
I got into riding a few years back in order to spend more time with my dad, a Conneaut native. Got back into it after
you
he
go.
retired.
I got a house there.
So,
Yay.
yeah, so far the rubber side has stayed down and between us.
Excellent.
Oh, I'm sorry. And between us, we've built a decent little stable.
No, not the rubber between you.
I know.
Sounds like your friend lives where my vacation house
my
exists.
vacation home in beautiful Conneaut by the sea.
Conneaut on sea.
Conneaut Erie Sea. Cognac on Grosson Erie Sea.
Where people from Youngstown vacation.
Totally. Everybody in Conneaut's like, oh, those fuckers from Youngstown all come up here and think they run the place. the Youngstown Mafia.
This is the greatest day ever.
There's a whole lot of in-jokes we don't get
John and I, that's
we can't afford to have summer homes in Conneaut.
Yeah, I know.
that's it.
This is like that upstate New
Neither-
York
yeah,
thing.
neither
They
can I.
have, they have like show tunes, and it's like what is it? Don't put baby in the corner. The whole thing. You know, it's like the Catskills.
Yep.
But it's
Called Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
All right. My wife has always wanted to learn to ride, so I had justification for a Grom.
Yeah.
Vulcan for cruises with her on the back, while Dad jumped in with a concourse. And for some reason, a couple of months ago, a ZX-10R 40th anniversary that he's yet to get out of the garage. Yeah, it's that's a lot of bike.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the man's 72 and doesn't even speed, but that leads me to my question. Good. I knew there was a question
there's a
in here
question
somewhere.
here.
Would one of the KTM Supermoto triplets fill a gap in riding experiences, and should I be really concerned about KTM's current woes? Not afraid of wrenching and will do things the hard way for fun sometimes, or that's what I tell my wife about why I'm making a lot of noise in the garage. I know KTM's been talked about many times over the last few months, but I wanted a reason to write in and also wanted you to make me feel better about a decision I'll probably make, even if it's a terrible one. It is. Thanks for taking time for the rest of us every week. Ride fast and take chances. And remember, kids, don't try this at home. Try it at your friend's house.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Alex, thank you. So about KTM, the rumors of their demise were not greatly exaggerated. In fact, if anything, they were undersold.
Yep.
They're fucked. They're proper fucked. There's no better way to put it. The
Didn't we
money.
say last time they're not paying salaries through
So
Christmas?
that's real.
However, since they're going bankrupt, deals.
Well, there's a bit of a problem with that. So the problem they have right now is they have 27,000 motorcycles that have gone unsold. They are not going to maintain parts support for these vehicles.
Also true.
The people who make the parts for them have already said that they are owed too much money,
Also,
and that
also
they
true.
say they see no reason to maintain the relationship. The government of the country of Austria has gotten involved and has said, if you feel like your corporation has been defrauded by KTM or Pure AG, that you should fill out the forms, and I'm going to put them in the show notes in case one of you feels like your corporation has been defrauded by KTM or Pure AG or any of its subsidiaries. You know how bad you have to be for the government to put out a notice that says if your providers, your parts and supports providers, are saying that we're gonna operate something outside of a class action lawsuit?
Sounds like the 2008
Bailout.
crash.
What,
yeah.
it sounds like Chrysler.
You know, a popular thing for companies to do, I dealt with this when I was a credit manager, is right before you go out of business or file bankruptcy, you go order a ton of shit from all your suppliers.
Yeah.
And we had that, like this one supplier ordered $50,000 worth of stuff, where normally they were only getting like $5,000 or $6,000 a month. The month before they filed bankruptcy.
Right, because then their assets are solid. They've got a ton of stuff sitting on the shelves, and they're going to go into chapter whatever we want to call it, but it's different there. They're going to go into receivership essentially, and they're not going to be on the hook for that, but here's the assets anyway.
But I filed paperwork and made them return it all.
Yeah.
Attaboy, Johnny.
I mean,
It was $50,000 worth of shit.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, what hole is he looking to fill? Because we've been talking about this the entire episode.
And also remember that if it has the word KTM in it,
Yeah.
right? That if it's a certain number of KTM motors, that means your cams are already dying.
Yeah. And your crank bearings are going to fail.
Well, more importantly, KTM didn't step up for the people whose bikes were still under warranty.
Yeah.
Now, if they didn't step up if your bike was under warranty with these cam problems and they were still a solvent company, how much of a rush do you think they're going to be to take care of you now that they are an insolvent company?
Squatouche.
Squatouche, as you would say.
But again, what kind of bike does he want?
If it says, here's my thing.
I mean, because I would.
Here's
not,
my take.
I mean, our take is not by KTM.
I wouldn't buy KTM right now if it was 50% off and it was a bike that I was like, I'm going to ride the wheels off this thing anyway and get rid of it. But I looked into some of their fire sale pricing that they're doing. They are acting like their expensive bikes haven't gone down in value at all.
No.
They have not given
God.
30% off yet.
No. And I'm a guy who lusts after a
So-
622.
I have a question. So, like, then they were talking about the Duke 1350 or whatever this year coming out in 2025. Like, do those exist? Like, did they make
I have
those?
no idea.
Probably not.
I have no idea.
I mean, the 1390 was around for ages, and they are lustworthy, but not that lustworthy.
I've never known a KTM owner that can say, I've had my bike for 5 years and not consumed any parts.
Yeah.
They're amazing motorcycles. They drive great. They handle great. It's one of my favorite motors on the planet. I don't think there's a better motor.
So Sleepy hit on something a while ago about Ducatis and Aprilia's love to consume. KTM's lust.
Yeah.
Consummate.
It's just
they
what
love.
But I mean,
They
most
love it.
guys that buy KTMs, though, when you're going into it, you kind of know what you're getting into. Just like with my Aprilia or something like that. Like, you get that fucking nut squealing performance, but you're going to pay for that at some point.
I got a friend who needed a 8-inch long wiring harness.
Yep.
That had about 16 wires in it.
Yeah.
It was $400 and took him over 7 months to get.
Yep. And it's comprised of
that
like,
piece of wiring harness meant the entire motorcycle was unusable.
and they're like 4-gauge wires.
Super tiny.
They're like
Super tiny wires.
like nut hair fucking short fucking
So-
hairs.
keep in mind that KTM has always been performance, right? Ready to race. But ready to race doesn't necessarily mean super durable. No. Thicker wires.
Yep. It's the anti-Honda.
It is.
Absolutely right. Laugh, but absolutely. I mean, they are screaming performance.
That's right.
Machines.
You can't buy a red KTM, can you?
No.
It is the anti-Honda. Holy shit! It's the anti-Honda. I wouldn't buy one. Not on a month of Sundays. There's no way I would buy a KTM.
I'm one of the few guys probably in this room that can fix a KTM, and
I don't think you can.
I'm looking at it going, no, fuck this.
There's no way. I know what Liza's gone crazy, and she's got a lot of firepower in that shop.
Yep.
Emma's a fucking fiend, and
without the computer, you can't fucking fix them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Emma beat her head against a wall for a real long goddamn time.
Yep.
There's a reason Liza didn't get to ride her bike for a whole long time because it says KTM on the side.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
there's no such thing as like, I got a great deal on a used KTM.
Was it a 525 or a 535 EXC or EKC? I can't remember. I spent 6 months on that fucking thing and almost made it work. That's pretty much where we're at.
I came that close to buying a 990 adventure bike a bunch of years ago. Like,
I had a big Duke.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I really liked it. And the first time it made a noise that wasn't perfectly the way it should sound, that bike and I separated way fast.
Because the 620 Duke, what is it? The 620 Duke 2?
Oh, that one was terrible.
Wonderful bike.
No. Which one was the terrible one? The 600 or something? Or there was one
a Duke 1 and a Duke 2.
490 was,
Okay.
No,
the 490 and then I had a Funduro for ages, and you know what? I'd rather have the Funduro.
Yeah, there's a lot of different bikes you could have if you want to have a great machine right now. But I would say definitely don't be buying some KTM stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, you brought that up earlier. Those people that work in that factory, over 2,700 people, didn't get a paycheck in December.
Yep.
And they shut down an entire factory with an email that said, "Don't come to work." Oh, by the way, tomorrow you can come and get your toolbox.
Right.
It said, "Don't come to work." Now, that's because they're trying to figure out who gets what.
Yep.
Right? Who gets what?
Well, everybody remembers when LML shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nobody got nothing.
Nobody got nothing. You couldn't even get your toolboxes out.
Yep.
And that was the same thing, too, when we had some Indian dealers here in Cleveland that shut down. They were so deep into receivership that they put chains on the doors and didn't let the mechanics go in and get their toolboxes. Yeah. They didn't let the customers who had their bikes in the service department go get their bikes out of the service department. So you could really be in a bad situation. I've seen that happen. I really don't want that to happen for anybody that I know.
Yep.
Let alone to have a guy be like, "Hey, man, can you work on my KTM?" Because you know that's going to happen.
Yep.
So, no, we don't. We're not going to work on your KTM. And I think that it would be a really bad time to have a KTM.
It hurts my soul as a mechanic.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. It hurts my soul as a mechanic looking at KTM, knowing how wonderful those bikes can be.
Yes.
And knowing that they're done.
Yep.
They're just gone.
I never have even the slightest instant wanted a KTM ever.
Never even been on your radar.
Never.
Never not once.
When they
Again, John,
when
it's
they
the
work, they're
anti-Honda.
brilliant. Yeah, it's the anti-Honda.
That's why it never appealed to you.
You've probably also never looked at Husqvarna. You probably never looked at gas, that kind of stuff.
I like the name Husqvarna, so I do kind of like.
Well,
those.
I mean, the chainsaws.
That was a great
the
bike. The
chainsaws are
610
fucking
was
amazing.
I love that
Love
bike.
the
That
lawn
was a good bike.
appliances.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that 610 was...
But
It was
the
a great
reality
bike.
is KTM is one of those names from old school motocross where everybody's like, look, I want to have a KTM because they have such a brilliant history.
The sad thing is...
Brilliant.
The sad thing is, I think what's really going to happen is what Tom said a few weeks ago, and that is that Bajaj is going to buy him.
Yeah.
That Bajaj is going to take that partnership that they already have. Bajaj has never been looking better. Bajaj is all those 400cc Triumphs that they can't make fast enough.
Yeah.
Are built in a Bajaj factory.
Yeah.
Bajaj is printing some money right now because that is what's hitting. The 400cc market is hitting, and they're building bikes for a lot of the important players. And they've got some capital. They've got some liquidity. And this is a great time for them to have that relationship with KTM.
This gives you justification as a world brand.
Yeah.
Because KTM is Bajaj is the biggest seller of of two-wheeled vehicles.
I kind of feel like the only people that don't know what Bajaj is are in this country.
Yeah. And that's fair.
I think that if you live anywhere else, including Canada, you've been able to buy a Bajaj since about 1980.
And it's truly kind of a when was it the son that took over after the father passed away? The son took over, and he said that was the end of the Cheetok, which in proper Indian culture, it was given that you were going to get a Cheetok for your wedding gift.
It was a dowry.
It was a dowry.
It was a dowry. The two biggest.
And this is not like me attacking the culture. This is literally, this is what happened. Right. This is your Toyota Corolla of life.
People would hand down a job at the Bajaj factory from grandfather
and I've got
to father to son.
I've got two Cheetoks. I'm not going to lie. I love those bikes.
I wouldn't brag.
Yeah.
Too much about that. It is.
Was that a wedding gift?
But
I mean, I get it. There's a cult. There's a cult.
There's a cult.
There's a cult
and
of Yugo enthusiasts.
Yeah.
But when the son took over, he said, "Okay, we're done with scooters," and that was like 1 million vehicles just stopped being sold, and they went at a two-wheeled, and it was basically the Hero 125.
Again, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but for a very long time, they produced the highest number of two-wheeled vehicles on this planet for many years.
And suddenly they are now the producer of every two-wheeled vehicle for manufacturers like Triumph.
There's a lot of guys.
Husqvarna,
there's a lot of people.
And
there's a lot of people.
So now for them to take KTM out of receivership and go, look,
but you know what they're not going to do?
KTM.
You know what they're not going to do? Keep the 1290 around.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep those bikes around.
You know, what's CF Moto's next move, though? Are they going to go big?
CF Moto's already as big as it fucking can get.
And so now that's the question is, does Bajaj want to go to a 1290?
I think CF Moto losing KTM is like somebody going, you don't have herpes now. Right?
That's fair.
Look at the books. CF Moto makes more money in 2 days than KTM makes all year.
That's the really funny part is we're sitting around talking. 20 years ago, would you have said we're talking about CF Moto and Bajaj?
But we've discussed that. The point being,
but if you're into CF Moto, man, buy a used one. Have you seen the price depreciation on these bikes that are like a week old?
New depreciation.
It's insane.
Pretty big.
It's like you thought the deal, I thought the adventure bike was a fucking deal at $4,200. Then you look in the used market, they're like 20 or 2,000, and you're like, holy shit.
But we laugh at this, and the reality is, in 5 more years,
you know what, man? You know what bike I'd never own? I'd never own one of them fucking Yamahas, man.
Yeah,
one of them fucking. They make pianos and shit. And all that bullshit.
Transistorized radios will never catch on.
I wouldn't give you $50 for that fucking Yamaha.
Yeah.
And that was what Americans were saying, and we're saying it right now.
Yep.
We're just saying CF Moto.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And when the E-Charm was new, we would have said, fuck that bullshit. And now we're both like, maybe we should try that.
I want to tell you that if you say E-Charm, if you say whatever, what you're saying is...
The E-Charm and the fashion.
Well, what you're saying is you're just saying that, at some point, Honda was a really small company that strapped little tiny motors onto bicycles. And how quaint and how adorable. But now they are fucking Honda.
Yep.
Right? They are fucking Honda. And every company started small. Every company
at one point
started little. Every company started building cheaper shit than the guy they were competing with.
At one point, it was called the NSU Max, and the next thing we knew, it was called the Honda Dream.
But I mean, there's a hell of a lot to be said for that, and I'm trying to change my ways about just straight up hate fucking CF Moto and coming off really hard on those guys because
so the wannabe Sportster that we had for ages that you sold.
Yeah.
What was it called?
It's QJ.
The QJ.
Yeah, it's SRV 300.
And how brilliant was that bike?
It's a great bike. It's an absolutely great bike. And I wouldn't hesitate. If I had to say, if somebody says you get your choice of a 300cc Honda Rebel or you get your choice of this SRV 300, I'm on that SRV every day of the week. It's a better bike.
And that is
a better bike.
That's where we are, is trying to convince people the SRV is better than the Honda.
Right. It's a better
at
bike.
least equivalent to.
Right. It's a better bike. And I haven't put any time yet on a CF Moto. I haven't, owned one, but I'll tell you what, Sleepy, when you said that, I saw one the other day that had 3,200 miles on it. Mm-hmm. And you're right. It was $29.99.
Yeah. I mean, they're it's crazy.
And it had all the stuff.
There's a 300. I didn't even know what it was, but it's a CF Moto 300 something sport bikey looking thing. It's like $1,800 with
Yeah, yeah.
400 miles on it or something. It has a TFT screen. Like it's beyond like it's not like the Grim. I paid $1,800 for the Grim or $800, but whatever. This is like scooter money, and you get a full like BMW TFT.
That was a Tao Vader.
Yeah.
It was a Tao Vader, a replica of a Grom.
Right.
And it was, you get what you pay for.
That was a piece of shit.
Right.
But this thing, I mean, if I needed a 300cc bike and I had it, because if it's listed for 18, they'll take 15.
I know.
Or whatever.
And the Benellis with the digital display and like they're good bikes. Like they are just really, really nice bikes.
You know what I'm sad about?
Pure QJ, man.
So to reiterate, it is now a buyer's market.
Okay, but remember how we were excited about the Pepito or whatever it was, the little guy? They're hitting the market. They must not be popular, man. I've seen them for like 17 bows.
I've seen them brand new, hitting super cheap. That's a tough sell because a couple of years ago when COVID happened and everybody had stimmy checks, dudes are running out going, yeah, man, $3,200 play bike all day long.
Yep.
All day long. I'll buy that cash. And now everybody's going, oh, $3,200. I got to pay that into my credit card that's now 24.9% interest.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware, but credit cards are not free anymore.
Oh, no.
If you got a good one, they're 21.9%. So if you're carrying a balance on your credit card, you need to go to church.
Yep.
Yeah.
You need to listen to Dave Ramsey. You need to get your shit together because if you're paying interest on your credit card right meow, you do not have any money left in the bank. Americans are no longer cash rich. We no longer have fat savings accounts. People are getting hammered on monthly payments. This is a really tough time to be financing something. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so Straw Dog says maybe a suggestion for another show: motorcycle transport on the back of a car or a truck.
Yep.
Oh.
And Redonk says, has the BMW 450 GS concept gotten mentioned yet?
I don't think it has.
There's not been.
No.
And then
That's a Pete question.
it's like a month-old news, but it looks cool.
It does.
I seen that. The dirt bikey looking thing. Yeah, I saw an adventure
They're
rider.
doing the X
The
again.
only thing I don't like about it is it has a small front wheel.
It does. It has a really small front wheel. And I've seen pictures of it with...
It's 1719, I think.
yeah, I think you're right.
It's two-cylinder, 450. But it's a good-looking bike, I tell you.
Yeah.
I think it's a real good-looking bike.
And it's supposed to be pretty lightweight, isn't it? And it's like 380 or something
I
like
was
that?
going to say about 400, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. If that thing doesn't sell, if it's a decent bike, because that's exactly what all these adventure rider assholes have been asking for.
Yeah.
You're like, I want a light 450 that's under 400 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Well, there you go, dude.
They made the G450X ages ago.
Yep.
This is like the Super
literally
Cub's
is like
dad.
the modern version.
It's when the Cub grew up and went to military training school.
exactly
They took all the chubby cheeks off of it and like rounded them.
This literally is the G450X Mark II.
It is. It's the G450X Mark II. I agree with that. I think that's exactly what that bike is.
This is them trying it again because it is not. It looks almost exactly the same.
It sure does. It sure looks like a G450X.
And I lusted when it was in the showroom. I lusted at the G450X. Like the whole G series was a great idea, and then they just went, "Oh no, we're not going to do that anymore."
Pete, you said that's parallel twin?
I believe so.
Then that's that launch-in motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that launch-in
So
motor.
Sleepy's favorite bike. They just sleeved it. It's fine.
It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. But I agree. I kind of wish that was a 21-inch front wheel. For real off-roady kind of horseshit.
Well, the day it gets released, I'm sure, Rally Raid will have the 21-inch option for it. In
right.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah. But they did give Sleepy his front headlight he likes so much. Yeah.
The pucker. You know what? It's grown on me now. And
The chocolate starfish?
Yeah, I don't hate it now. Here's what they did. So the BMW is very smart. So they fed you this, and you go, fuck, that's ugly. And but then you're like, well, maybe it's not that bad. Then you start to like it. And then as you kind of get used to that, then they drop the new GSA with the side cases that looks like, something.
The toaster vision.
Yeah. And then you're like, fuck, that's ugly. And then it takes a couple months till you're like, well, okay, I guess that's all right.
I used to I've been in BMWs for my whole life. And so I was like, hey, man, nice. It's got a toaster tank. And you're like, yeah, it's got a toaster tank. Cool. And then I saw the new BMW GS and I was like, fuck, it's a toaster tank.
Yeah, but they went black
but it's
and
the
Decker.
wrong kind of toaster. Yeah. This is not.
Everybody remembers the Rockster with that wonky-eyed, I'm kind of not drunk look.
Right.
But when it came out, everybody was like, oh, God, no. And then after a while, everybody went, okay, I kind of get it.
You know, I mean, this is a really cool bike. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I really do think this is a really cool bike. Really, you know.
And you know what? That might make a really cool super motard. You could slap some slicks on that thing. I bet you'd be fun as hell, man.
That's cool. It's a cool bike.
I
do
wish
like
the bodywork wasn't so bulbous.
You know, you can tell there's
really
a lot of
there's
a lot of air under that. Yeah. There's a lot of air under that plastic. I think that it's unnecessarily fatified because that parallel twin motor isn't 16 inches wide. But goddamn it, look at those fucking
It's like
shoulders.
you got a wave runner with wheels.
Is there air or oil under those fins? Because that might be air or oil cool.
I'm gonna guess it's liquid cool.
Oh, that's a liquid cool jacket.
So
Absolutely.
that's probably
a water cooled
those are probably radiators.
Yeah, probably.
Well, it's radiator on one side and the reservoir on the other side.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Just
It's
like
a cool looking bike though.
Just like KLR.
It's a neat looking bike. And it is funny though, you know, I'm looking at the bash plate and I'm completely going, plastic bash plate.
Yeah.
Alongside of the stainless steel under the bottom exhaust header. Okay. Well, aftermarket to the rescue.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to show up real fast.
Well, Motorrad's going to sell that for $600 out the door. So
right.
It depends, man. Like BMW, I've noticed on some of their bikes, like even on my F100, if you look on the side, like is it a crash guard? And you look and you're like, yeah, they invested in it. Like that's some actual beefy. Like it doesn't look at it first, but so who knows? Like they might be making it out of like cutting board material because like you see those things and those bash plates are great.
They last forever. Yeah. They will absolutely.
Yeah, but some dicks they're still going to sell a metal one for it.
30 years ago, Kawasaki put the exact same piece of plastic that was on a KLR 650. If you look at the rear rack of a KLR 650, there's just two aluminum bars that go back, and then there's a plastic deck in the middle of it that holds it all together, right? And it's a plastic, like you said, it's a cutting board. Mm-hmm. It's a plastic cutting board. And I saw a guy once that put that underneath his motorcycle, and he was like, gets the job done. Yeah. He took his rack off because he put an aftermarket rack on. He had that thing sitting around. He put that, and it was unkillable.
Yeah. That was very popular for a while, is to take a white cutting board, heat it, with like a good heat gun and kind of push it into the frame and then new bolts.
Smith says somebody is sharing pornography.
Might as well compare the CF Moto 450 MT and the GS 450. Mm-hmm. How about the features? Wesley Witt says sleepy. Oh, I was that way with the new Chevy GMC truck front ends.
Yeah.
Then Zimbo 1212 says, what is Phil's 2025 sales outlook? Think you'll move more or less units than 24?
Ooh. Well, the numbers are posted, so I can kind of give you a little bit of help on that one.
Look out.
I made a mess.
Look out, baby. For 24, we did manage to continue our record of being in the top 10 Vespa dealers in America, which is shocking because I saw what our sale numbers did. So the fact that I looked at my numbers and I went, well, when these results come out, I'm going to be pretty sad because it's the first time I've been out of the top 10 in 20 years, right? So I've been like, I'm not really ready to not be in the top 10 anymore. The numbers came out. I'm still in the top 10. Nice. Yay! But that means everyone else is sucking bigger dicks than I am. So it did come out that we are still in the top 10, but our numbers, you used to have to do 200 bikes to be in the top 10, and we're, I think, at 130.
So what's your projection for 25 then?
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. So I think 24 was the get ready. Well, and the 25 is grab your ankles. Right. I think 25 is the grab your ankles. Anybody out there buying really stupid expensive shit right now? Y'all feel great about the economy? It's a great time to, take out a loan on something. No, probably not. Not. And historically speaking, in the 24 years we've run our shop, when we have these years that feel this way, we don't do big numbers.
No, I'm cashing. I'm anything that is not making me money. I'm paying off any fucking debt that's anywhere. I'm getting ready for the next couple of years, man.
A real good idea. Yeah. We're just going to throw a picture up of the CF Moto. Just because, hey, why not? We'll throw it up. There's even a pretty red one. So we'll go ahead and cast that up so we can see it here in the office. Let's see, folks. This is a very pretty CF Moto MT. Okay. It doesn't have any of the part that John doesn't like. It doesn't have the extra fat around the shoulders.
I don't hate that. That's like a little mini Yamaha.
It looks like a
Penray
little-
700.
I was going to say, it looks like
Phil,
a little parody car.
That literally is just the Honda CR 450 Rally.
I think you're right. Well,
Now, you know what?
That's the rally.
I hope this comes in and then we can find it used for like $4,000. I'd buy that for 4G.
I'd buy that just to take the front wheel off and put it on the BMW.
this is also water cooled. This is also dual overhead cam, judging by what I can see of the motor. Has the exact same exhaust that goes under the frame.
Is that trellis frame? Is that actually a decal, or is it actually? It almost looks like a decal.
It is a real trellisy, but I think it's just some plastic parts jammed in.
Yeah,
there.
because what
think so,
happens?
too.
It just disappears at the end there.
That's just the rear subframe that's supporting the
right.
tail end of the bike. You go back to the BMW, I think it had a true trellis frame.
Nope. I'm sorry. That actually is a more comfortable seat than the CRF 450 Rally.
Let's see here. The BMW is welded together pieces, parts to make a trellisy frame, bolts and holes.
CF Moto is interesting though, because they must have a department that goes back 15 years to get pipes from like 1998.
I think they've got a time machine and they're bringing all the fart cannons back. They're bringing all the exhaust systems back from 98.
Yeah, they're like, no, I don't want, I don't want anything good looking.
My general rule, when I see that particular metal strap hanging an exhaust on, I know that strap is going to fail.
Yeah.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's only on there to hold that pipe that you're going to take off.
Yeah.
For that short while between the dealership and your house. Those straps are guaranteed to fail every single time.
Yeah.
That is the least effective way to hold an exhaust on. And by the way, this exhaust has not one, but 2 mounting points. One at the header and one all the way in the back behind the bitch pegs. So that is not a well-supported exhaust
the
right there.
elastomeric band?
The elastomeric band. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's the elastomeric band.
That being said, it's a cool looking bike, man. I'd like to.
It is a cool looking bike.
And I'm not. And so
but
far,
it does look like they designed it while looking at a picture of a Honda Rally. So I get it.
Or a Tenray, the 700 Tenray. Literally, the tank looks like they stole this.
And this looks like one of those aluminum cast, not aluminum, a cast alloy engine hanger. Whereas when you look at the BMW does actually look like a trellis a frame.
Is there a front view of this thing?
Well, I'm sure we could find one if we looked hard enough, but
I really don't hate it. I'd have to see it in person.
Yeah, but it's out there, right? It's out there. It's not hard to find. I mean, I'm sure the guys can.
Well, we'll see it at AIM show, right?
I'm sure we'll see it at the AIM Expo. We'll be there. Yep, we'll be there taking a look at these bikes for sure, giving our in-depth opinion. The one time Pete and I crawled up onto a thing we weren't supposed to crawl up on and got too close of a look at a Chinese-made adventure bike, we were like, from 25 feet, we were like, that thing's the business. We were like, Pete was like, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went up under the little rope thing we weren't supposed to go behind. What'd you think about those welds, Pete?
Yeah, the big bubblegum welds.
Yeah, it was one of those welds. It was a weld that was like, I know what you paid the teenager that made the weld. You could have paid an 8-year-old to follow behind with a grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can be a bad welder if you're a good grinder. Mm-hmm. And this was neither. They just painted right over the explosions.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, that $68,000 S side-by-side had welding rods sticking out of the joint. It had
welding rod. Yeah. It was welding rod poking out of the paint.
But it was painted, yeah.
It was painted it. The welding rod.
Like, they didn't even take a hammer and smash it down so when you didn't poke your wrist when you went in there. It was literally just sticking up.
They chased the guy.
Yeah.
Like, the painter was chasing the welder.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, man, if I catch you, I'm going to eat your lunch.
Yeah.
And the welder was like, the fuck you are. Zap, zap, zap. And he ran.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad welds on that thing. That was a very expensive vehicle for being the shitty welds that were on it. So, yeah, that's good. That's fun. All right. Anybody else got anything else? I think it's been a wonderful podcast. How long did we go there, Sleepy?
2 hours and 18 minutes.
Oh, the camera shut off 18 minutes ago. Hey.
Well, those of you playing the
that's
game.
cool.
No, did it?
I don't know. No, we're still getting reports from the field.
Okay.
We solved that problem 3 or 4 podcasts ago.
Yeah.
Just get a different camera. Well, that's cool. If you guys are paying attention, we are going to be at the AIM Expo. The Misfits, Motorcycles and Misfits are going to be out there as well. Keep in mind, that's the AIM Expo in Las Vegas. I think it's February 4th, 5th, 6th or something like that.
And then there's the show.
Then there's the One Moto show, which is happening in downtown Las Vegas.
And the Cincinnati show is before that.
Yes, that's right. We got to give props to the Rheingeist Brewery and the Cincinnati Motorcycle Show because that's the Garage Brewed Motorcycle Show, and that's going to be, I think, February 2nd.
It is the week before Vegas.
Yeah.
Are we planning on doing everything?
I don't know. You
That's
only
a lot
live
of
once.
everything. Yeah, I mean, sleeping's for the dead, right?
Got snow tires on the truck. Let's do it.
All right.
Well, if that's it, anybody got anything else? Hell no, that's a podcast. Ride fast and take chances, boys. Play us out here, Johnny.
Rock and roll.
Hit the red button, eject.